Chapter 357. Qin Wentian's eyes flickered with a terrifying coldness. The power of his bloodline erupted forth as a third eye appeared in the center of his brows. Yunmengyi, freeze this space. Qin Wentian's voice was ice cold. Yunmengyi slashed out with her sword as a terrifying coldness gushed forth from her. The entire space seemed to be frozen by the coldness, causing frost to form on the bodies of the spectators. Qin Wentian and the rest didn't continue advancing. Instead, they chose to stop and engage in battle on the surface of the river of life and death. This scene caused the hearts of the spectators to tremble. Were these people crazy? Zhan Chen, Yang Fan and the rest frowned. Although they wanted to kill Qin Wentian, to them, the ranking battle was more important. Hence, their will to battle had diminished. Kill Duan Qingshan. Qin Wentian's voice was as cold as ice. He had said before that if they met again, he would definitely kill Duan Qingshan. Yet now, Duan Qingshan actually dared to act against him. This time around, he would use Duan Qingshan's life to pay the price. The black-robed figure was delaying Zhan Chen, while Chu Mang was fighting against Situ Po. Bailu Jing and Ouyang Guangsheng were defending against the attacks of Yang Fan and the other two from the star-seizing manor. Yunmengyi's gaze shifted onto Duan Qingshan as an extreme coldness erupted forth. Duan Qingshan's entire body was covered in frost, the coldness so cold that it pierced right into his bones. Abruptly, a formless energy blasted onto him as a fearsome mandate of will gushed into his sea of consciousness. Inclining his head, he stared at Qin Wentian. His countenance was incredibly unsightly to behold, a terrifying primordial demon had descended upon his sea of consciousness, wanting to devour him whole. Not only that, the force of the attack caused his sea of consciousness to tremble violently. The attack of the mandate of will actually gushed into his sea of consciousness. Duan Qingshan's countenance turned ashen as he retreated with explosive speed. He stomped out with his foot, aiming for Qin Wentian and the rest, only to see Qin Wentian casually waving his hand as a formless energy blasted apart the attack of the gigantic foot. Wait, this mandate of will should be at the second level. Duan Qingshan's countenance turned ashen. How was this possible? Qin Wentian was only at the 7th level of Yuanfu, how could he have already comprehended the second level of mandates? That was the entry level of Heavenly Dipper. Yunmengyi's speed was exceedingly fast. She had also comprehended the mandate of wind, and in addition to the mandate of ice, she was even faster than Duan Qingshan. Slashing out with her sword, she descended from the 9 heavens. Duan Qingshan's countenance grew incredibly unsightly to behold. In the unmatched realm, only a few people knew of Yunmengyi. Yet this nameless nobody was actually this tyrannical. Duan Qingshan howled in rage as the power of his astral soul erupted forth. It was as though a pair of gigantic feet had appeared in the air, blasting upwards. However, he saw Qin Wentian madly rushing at him with terrible killing intent. Right now, Qin Wentian only had one thought in his mind, and that was to kill Duan Qingshan. Duan Qingshan's countenance was as cold as ice. However, Qin Wentian raised his palm and pressed it against the air. In an instant, a surge of energy like that of a ferocious beast slammed into Duan Qingshan's body, causing him to groan in pain. The heavenly sword technique descended. Duan Qingshan's face was as pale as paper, but no one helped him. Boom! An ancient bell rang out in the air, reverberating in his heart. After which, Qin Wentian arrived. His eyes were incomparably demonic as a third eye appeared in the center of his brows. Sweeping his gaze over, he blasted out a palm imprint. Duan Qingshan howled in rage, he had no choice but to clash head-on against Qin Wentian. A boundlessly powerful force blasted into his body, directly ignoring his defenses as it bore down on him, causing him to be pushed down towards the river of life and death. Splashing sounds rang out, this was the sound of the river water. No. Duan Qingshan turned his head back, his countenance as pale as paper. Qin Wentian's palm was already pressing down on him, ignoring everything else as he continued to press downwards. "I've said it before, I will kill you." A cold voice rang out. Qin Wentian blasted out another palm strike as a towering might blasted down. With a rumbling sound, Duan Qingshan's body was instantly corroded by the river of life and death. No. Duan Qingshan's countenance contorted with malevolence, but in the next instant, his body turned into a pile of white bones. Duan Qingshan had fallen. The spectators on both sides of the river of life and death felt their hearts pounding violently when they saw the pile of white bones disappearing into the river. That was Duan Qingshan, one of the top 36 rankers on the Heavenly Fate rankings. However, he was actually killed by someone in the river of life and death. Although the river of life and death was cruel, Duan Qingshan had actually fallen at the first checkpoint after the sounding of the drum. This caused the spectators to sigh at the cruelty of the Heavenly Fate rankings. At the same time, it also caused the spectators to seriously re-evaluate this young man. Who was this young man exactly? He had many friends by his side, yet there were so many experts who wanted to kill him. Not only that, at the moment when the drum sounded, he had already broken the record, seizing the first position. At that time, the spectators didn't think that this meant anything. After all, his cultivation base was the weakest. But after that, he killed Duan Qingshan. Although he borrowed the strength of others, there was no need to doubt Qin Wentian's own strength. If not, how could he have suppressed Duan Qingshan and blasted him into the river of life and death? Those from the Ouyang aristocrat clan naturally witnessed this scene as their countenances turned incredibly unsightly. Although Duan Qingshan wasn't a member of the Ouyang aristocrat clan, he was still a heaven's chosen of their Ouyang aristocrat clan. Yet now, he was actually killed by Qin Wentian. Their hearts were filled with complex emotions. Back then, when Qin Wentian stepped into the Ouyang aristocrat clan, Qin Wentian was still so weak. But now, he actually had the strength to kill Duan Qingshan, and even had a good relationship with Ouyang Guangsheng. As for Ouyang Ting, her countenance was as pale as paper, as though her soul had left her body. How could this be? How could this be? Duan Qingshan was killed by Qin Wentian. At this moment, Ouyang Ting's eyes were bloodshot, she didn't know what to do. Her mind kept telling herself that it was impossible, but the truth was right before her eyes. Why did things end up like this? Shouldn't it be the opposite? Duan Qingshan should have killed Qin Wentian instead. All of this happened in an extremely short period of time. Qin Wentian's silhouette instantly soared up the skies, his gaze sweeping over the silhouettes of the spectators. Zhan Chen, Situ Pe and the rest knew that they couldn't afford to waste any more time. They soared through the air, no longer willing to waste any more time. Let's go quickly. Qin Wentian and the rest also sprinted forward. There were still people fighting in front of them, falling into the river of life and death unceasingly, causing the hearts of the spectators to tremble with fear. Those who died were all geniuses of their respective regions. The incense was about to burn out, and the crowd landed on the city walls at the end of the river of life and death, passing through the city gates. A raging wind gusted by as Qin Wentian and the rest landed on the ground. The incense had already burned out, and they all drew in a deep breath. They didn't expect that the battles in the river of life and death would be so dangerous. Luckily, they had all arrived, and none of them had fallen behind. Let's go. Qin Wentian and the rest passed through the city gates and met with Zhan Chen's group. Their gazes were incomparably sharp, and their killing intent permeated the air. Consider yourselves lucky. Zhan Chen's eyes flickered with a golden light as he coldly stated. After which, he glanced at the black-robed figure. This person had spoiled his plans several times already. Qin Wentian also glanced at the black-robed figure as he nodded his head, many thanks. The countenance of the black-robed figure flickered. His eyes exuded a sense of elegance, and this caused Qin Wentian to suspect that the black-robed figure who cultivated the devil art was actually a female. This devil art was extremely tyrannical, and those who cultivated it could easily suffer a backlash. If it was a female cultivator, how strong would her heart be? However, Qin Wentian didn't know if he would be able to find out the identity of the black-robed figure after the ranking battle. After passing through the city gates, the number of people remaining decreased once again. Another half of the participants remained in the river of life and death. Currently, although there were still many people gathered here, compared to before, the number of participants had already decreased by quite a bit. However, those who remained were all elites, and as time passed, those who remained would only grow stronger and stronger. For example, Duan Qingshan, who was originally ranked in the top 36, naturally had the ability to challenge the top 36. However, he was still killed in the end. His luck was simply too bad. Not only that, during the ranking battle, there would be many who had grudges against each other, eliminating some of the more powerful participants. However, this was precisely the kind of test the Heavenly Fate rankings required. Only when the sand is washed away by the great waves can one see the gold. But if one wanted to rely on luck to walk all the way to the end, it was impossible. At this moment, in front of the eyes of the crowd, there were numerous platforms for the selection of generals. Old Man Tianji and the rest were still leisurely walking in the air, gazing down at everything below them. On the left and right of them, countless silhouettes appeared. It was as crowded as ever, but they were still able to see everything clearly. It was rumored that although the current Grand Xia still retained much of its ancient glory, there were still many changes. For example, outside of the river of life and death, there should have been many ancient halls, but they had all been destroyed. After passing the flight of steps, the only thing left was the river of life and death. As for the history of Grand Xia, no one bothered to look into it. As long as they could personally witness the ranking battle, they would be satisfied. This place used to be the training grounds of the ancient kingdom of Grand Xia. There are over 100 platforms here, and as soon as you step on it, an illusory figure of the same level of strength will appear. For those below the yellow battle robe, they will all be eliminated. You may begin now, Old Man Tianji calmly stated. As the sound of his voice faded, Great Sun Chen Wang's silhouette flickered, akin to a resplendent sun as he stood on the platform in the center. This platform wasn't large, so if he was blasted off it, the battle would be over. A bright light flashed as an illusory figure appeared in front of Chen Wang. This figure was clad in red armor, and exuded a terrifying aura. He was the same as Chen Wang, at the peak of the 9th level of Yuanfu. Bzzz. This armored warrior wielded a long spear in his hands, instantly stabbing out towards Chen Wang. Chen Wang's eyes flickered, it was as though a sun could be seen in his eyes. Instantly, his opponent's body was engulfed in flames, and with a wave of his hand, the armored warrior's body was instantly engulfed in flames. After which, it transformed into a beam of light that fused into Chen Wang's body. Momentarily, Chen Wang was clad in a red armor. After which, two other armored warriors appeared. These two were clad in orange-colored armor. Chen Wang stepped out, unleashing his great solar universe art. Blasting out with his palms, the two armored warriors were instantly incinerated. Momentarily, the color of Chen Wang's armor turned orange. For the battle of armors, there will be more and more powerful armored warriors appearing. The colors of their armors can be divided into crimson, orange, yellow, green, azure, indigo, violet. If you can pass all 7 stages, you will be clad in a set of violet armor and stand out amongst the crowd. In fact, there were even some who passed all 7 stages and fought against a violet gold armored warrior. Ouyang Guangsheng spoke in a low voice. After this stage was over, the armor they wore would be able to directly reflect their strength. Chapter 358. Chen Wang's strength was terrifying. In the blink of an eye, he defeated the 3 yellow-armored warriors, and a layer of illusory yellow battle armor appeared on his body. These three warriors have a cultivation base at the peak of the 9th level of Yuanfu, and their mandates have reached the perfection boundary. Their spear techniques are terrifying. Qin Wentian understood in his heart when he saw this scene. For the first 3 battles, there was an additional armored warrior. However, the strength of these armored warriors were all the same. It was just that when 3 of them worked together, they were able to complement each other, and their combined might was many times more terrifying compared to a single armored warrior. For the 4th battle, a green armored warrior appeared on Chen Wang's battle platform. His cultivation base was still at the peak of Yuanfu, but his spear techniques were even more terrifying. Chen Wang's body shimmered with the light of the sun as he unleashed his great solar universe art. Not only that, his second-level mandates were also at the 2nd level, yet the green armored warrior was still able to clash head-on with him. However, he was still defeated by Chen Wang. More and more people walked up the platform, accepting the challenge. Starting from the green armored warrior, they slaughtered their way through. Those below the yellow battle robes would all be eliminated. This meant that they had to pass all 3 battles, and defeat the 3 yellow armored warriors. If not, they would be eliminated as well. Even more people were staring at Chen Wang, their hearts pounding unceasingly. At this moment, Chen Wang was already clad in an illusory azure battle robe. He had already defeated 2 green armored warriors with 2nd-level mandates. And now, Chen Wang was crazily fighting against 3 blue armored warriors. All 3 of them had a cultivation base at the peak of Yuanfu, and their mandates were all at the 2nd level. Not only that, although their weapons were all long spears, their mandates were all different. Their combined might caused the hearts of the spectators to tremble. This battle platform should have been left behind by the ancient kingdom of Grand Xiao. How marvelous! Qin Wentian murmured. Chen Wang was even more terrifying than him, and it wasn't just because his mandate had reached the 2nd level. However, this was only normal. Back then, Chen Wang was the 2nd ranker on the Heavenly Fate rankings. How could geniuses like Chen Wang waste their time to grow from a low-level Yuanfu cultivator to where he was today? It wouldn't be too difficult for Chen Wang to break through to Heavenly Dipper. Not only that, once Chen Wang stepped into the Heavenly Dipper realm, he would be able to insta-kill any ordinary Heavenly Dipper realm cultivator. This was what a Heaven's Chosen should be, the future pillar of a transcendent power. He won. The crowd had looks of astonishment on their faces. Chen Wang had defeated 3 blue armored warriors, and was clad in a blue battle robe, looking incomparably majestic. At this moment, a purple armored warrior appeared on the battle platform he was on. He was incomparably solemn, and his eyes caused people to feel a deep sense of fear. Chen Wang is so strong. For mandates, the 1st level is the foundation. It can be divided into the initial boundary, advanced boundary, transformation boundary, and perfection boundary. After that, one can continue to comprehend and break through to the 2nd level. However, the 2nd level is also divided into the initial boundary, advanced boundary, transformation boundary, and perfection boundary. Earlier, although the blue armored warriors had all broken through to the 2nd level, they were all at the initial boundary. What about the violet armored warrior? Qin Wentian stared at the battle platform Chen Wang was on. From this battle alone, he could see what level of combat prowess these people belonged to. He had comprehended 3 types of mandates: mandate of force, mandate of dream sleep, and mandate of demonic demons. All of them had already reached the perfection boundary of the 1st level. Not only that, his mandate of force had already broken through to the 2nd level. The 1st level of mandate of force was the void shockwave of force. His mandate of force was omnipresent, capable of killing his opponents through space. Not only that, the 2nd level of mandate of force was built on the foundation of the perfection boundary of the 1st level. In other words, the might of the void shockwave of force had already been infused into it. Countless gazes landed on Chen Wang, they wanted to see exactly how strong Chen Wang was. And Chen Wang didn't disappoint them. He began to unleash his absolute strength, his entire body, flesh, and blood transformed into flames, akin to the sovereign king of fire in the depths of lava. Those from the great Solar Chen clan smiled and nodded in satisfaction when they saw Chen Wang's performance. Only in this state would Chen Wang be able to unleash the full might of the Great Solar Universe art. The Great Solar Universe art circulated throughout his entire body. Someone at the 9th level of Yuanfu? Those from the Great Solar Chen clan coldly laughed. Let alone someone at the 9th level of Yuanfu, even if someone ranked on the Heavenly Fate rankings fought against Chen Wang, they wouldn't dare to touch him. The Great Solar Universe art emanating from Chen Wang could directly vaporize them. Under the shocked gazes of the crowd, Chen Wang defeated the purple-armored warrior, wearing a purple battle robe. Chen Wang's mandate of fire is at the 2nd level, ignition, the 2nd level, solidified flames. Earlier, when the violet-ranked warrior was grabbed by Chen Wang, his body was instantly transformed into solidified flames before he was forcibly incinerated into nothingness. Most probably, the 2nd level of mandate of fire has already surpassed the initial boundary and is at the advanced boundary. Nobody would dare to touch him. Who would be able to contend against him? This was the first time the crowd truly understood how powerful Chen Wang was. He wanted to don the most magnificent battle robe, seize the Heavenly Fate rankings, and contend for the number 1 position. After Hua Taishu, he was already the strongest ranker on the Heavenly Fate rankings. Now that Hua Taishu wasn't participating in the ranking battle, how could he, Chen Wang, not seize the number 1 position? Chen Wang won yet another battle, defeating 2 terrifying violet golden-ranked warriors. In the vision of the crowd, 3 resplendent platinum-ranked warriors appeared, staring down at Chen Wang with disdain. The aura exuding from them was incomparably terrifying. Finally, Chen Wang wasn't able to win this battle as he was blasted off the platform by the 3 platinum-ranked warriors. But even so, his performance was still dazzling enough. Chen Wang was clad in a violet gold battle robe. Most probably, no one would be able to surpass him. Only, no one knew if Shirpatian would be able to match Chen Wang's battle robe. More and more experts ascended the platform. This time around, it was a true elimination round. Those who couldn't suppress those at the same cultivation level as them would be eliminated if they didn't pass the 3rd round. Even the weakest among those who could remain were able to defeat 3 opponents at the peak of Yuanfu with mandates at the perfection boundary. One could very well imagine how terrifying the later rounds would be. After Shirpatian ascended the platform, the crowd was once again filled with excitement. This continued until Shirpatian also donned a violet gold battle robe, showing off his might, as well as the fact that he wasn't any weaker than Chen Wang. Both Chen Wang and Shirpatian were extremely powerful, far surpassing the rest. Emperor Azure, Wang Ju and the rest were only clad in indigo battle robes, not violet. There was no need to mention violet gold. Compared to Chen Wang and Shirpatian, they were on a whole different level. After all, the violet-ranked warriors they faced had already stepped into the advanced boundary. It wasn't strange for them to be defeated. But of course, if they fought with their lives on the line, they might still be able to win. But even so, this also meant that Emperor Azure and Wang Ju's mandates had already stepped into the 2nd level. If not, how could they be clad in indigo battle robes? Are they starting to reveal their brilliance? The lineup for this year's Heavenly Fate rankings is truly terrifying. The hearts of the crowd trembled. Both Emperor Azure and Wang Ju had actually comprehended the 2nd level of mandates. Qin Wentian stood there, staring at the battle before him. He could only feel his heart pounding, as an intense pressure bore down on him. It seemed that he had still underestimated the difficulty of the Heavenly Fate rankings. Those who were once ranked in the top 10 were already far ahead of Duan Qingshan. If Duan Qingshan stood in front of them, he would be easily defeated. Even if they were both ranked in the Heavenly Fate rankings, the disparity between them would still be too great. The top 3 rankers of the Heavenly Fate rankings. Qin Wentian drew in a deep breath. To him, this was an extremely difficult challenge. Zhan Chen, is he hiding his strength? Qin Wentian mused. Zhan Chen was ranked number 11 on the Heavenly Fate rankings a few years ago, and now that he had obtained the Gold Element Ancient Scroll, he was even more demonic than before. How strong was he exactly now? Qin Wentian discovered that Zhan Chen had merely donned the yellow-colored battle robe. His eyes flickered with a golden light, as though he didn't care what others thought of him. Zhan Chen, is he hiding his strength? Or is this really all he can do? Many speculated. The vast majority of the participants were either eliminated or donned the yellow-colored battle robes. After all, it was extremely rare to find someone who could defeat someone at the peak of the Heavenly Fate rankings who had comprehended the second level of mandates. This also made the violet gold battle robes of Chen Wang and Shirpatian even more dazzling. However, there was another person who attracted the attention of the crowd. This person was clad in a black robe, and his features couldn't be seen clearly. At this moment, an illusory green-colored battle robe had already been draped over his body. His cultivation base is at the 8th level of Yuanfu. Hence, his opponents are all at the 8th level of Yuanfu as well. It's just that for the first 3 battles, their mandates were all at the perfection boundary, and for the 4th battle, their mandates were all at the 2nd level. There's no disparity in their mandates, the only disparity is their cultivation base. This black-robed man cultivates a devilish art that's extremely terrifying. Hence, even if his opponent's mandates were at the 2nd level of mandates, he would still be able to win. The crowd discovered that the black-robed man was getting stronger and stronger as the battle progressed. Even the spectators in the hallway took notice of this man. That was the chaotic art of the heavenly devil. There was actually someone who dared to cultivate this long-lost and tyrannical devil art. Wasn't he afraid of his body exploding or turning into a devil? Finally, the black-robed man donned an azure battle robe. Other than Chen Wang and Shirpatian, this was the most dazzling. Seems like I have a huge advantage. Qin Wentian laughed. His cultivation base was at the 7th level of Yuanfu, which meant that his opponents would also be at the 7th level of Yuanfu. His silhouette flickered as Qin Wentian stepped out, landing on an empty battle platform. The instant his foot landed, a brilliant light flashed as a mysterious energy enveloped the platform. After which, an armored warrior with a cultivation base at the peak of the 7th level of Yuanfu appeared. Qin Wentian's silhouette flickered as he punched out with his fist. Boom! Annihilation. After which, the 2 combatants appeared. Qin Wentian's silhouette flickered as he punched out. This time, 2 punches, annihilation. For the 3rd battle, all 3 of the armored warriors were annihilated. This time, 3 punches. How fast, it's that fellow again. The spectators noticed Qin Wentian. He was the one who broke the record for today, the one who killed Duan Qingshan on the river of life and death. Qin Wentian was starting to display his strength again. Although he had a cultivation base at the 7th level of Yuanfu, his combat prowess was extremely terrifying. On the platform, a green-armored warrior appeared. 2nd level of mandate? Qin Wentian laughed. He was merely at the 7th level of Yuanfu, so what if his mandate was at the 2nd level? His silhouette flickered again as he instantly appeared in front of his opponent. His terrifying might directly collided with the long spear of his opponent as a terrifying shockwave blasted out. The spectators only saw a flash of light as the green-armored warrior exploded into pieces. Qin Wentian donned an azure battle robe. This. The countenances of the spectators froze. From the looks of it, Qin Wentian would definitely be able to equip an azure battle robe. Chapter 359. Although the green-armored warrior was at the same level as Qin Wentian, his mandate of mandate had already reached the 2nd level. But even so, the instant he clashed with Qin Wentian, he was instantly annihilated by Qin Wentian. From this, one could see how tyrannical Qin Wentian's attacks were. Even if one's mandate of mandate was at the same level, they still wouldn't be a match for him. Since this green-armored warrior could kill Duan Qingshan, his attacks should definitely be at the peak of Yuanfu. Even if the will of a 7th-level Yuanfu warrior was stronger than his, he would still be suppressed. This is very normal. I wonder who he is, to actually have such an attack prowess. Sadly, he's only at the 7th level of Yuanfu. If he was a little stronger, maybe he could step into the 9th level of Yuanfu before participating in the Heavenly Fate rankings. At that time, he would definitely be able to contend for the top 5 rankings. Even now, with his current strength, he has a high chance of entering the top 36. More and more spectators began to notice Qin Wentian. Ever since he first sounded the drum, he had gradually attracted the attention of the spectators. First, he killed Duan Qingshan in the River of Life and Death. And now, with his cultivation base at the 7th level of Yuanfu, he was able to display an outstanding performance in this round. At this moment, 2 green-armored warriors appeared. These 2 warriors were clad in azure battle armor, and exuded a terrifying aura. Bzzz. A raging wind gusted by as the 2 warriors simultaneously dashed towards Qin Wentian. Their long spears stabbed out, one on the left and one on the right, as though they wanted to seal Qin Wentian's movements. However, they only saw Qin Wentian twisting his body as he blasted out with both his palms. He actually used his fists to directly collide with the long spears. However, his fists were covered in demonic scales, and his mandate of force and mandate of demons erupted forth in an instant. In addition to his own terrifying strength, a formless shockwave flowed through the long spear and blasted into the body of the green-robed warrior. A beam of light flashed past, destroying the green-robed warrior. This power. The crowd scrutinized Qin Wentian seriously. This kind of attack power was too terrifying. Qin Wentian began to use the second realm of force, the void shockwave, in addition to his own attack power. Although the green-robed warrior was strong, he was still in the same realm as Qin Wentian. The warrior's martial will did not have an advantage. How could he not be destroyed by Qin Wentian, who was almost invincible in the same realm? Force, Qin Wentian was proficient in the mandate of force. No matter what methods you used, he would use his strongest strength to break them apart. By the time you realized your mistake, you would have already been destroyed by his strength. Next were the 3 blue-armored warriors. That's the blue-armored warrior. If he wins again, he'll be able to wear the blue robe, and other than Chen Wang and Shirpatian, he'll be just like the other blue-robed warriors. He'll be the most dazzling, and from the looks of it, he won't be under too much pressure. Mustang, Luo Huan and Bai Lui didn't participate in the ranking battle. They were squeezed into the crowd to spectate, and when they heard the discussions of the spectators, they couldn't help but feel agitated in their hearts. Luo Huan, don't you think I'm useless as a teacher? I didn't even teach Wentian anything, yet he's already become so powerful in such a short span of a few years. Mustang sighed in his heart. Qin Wentian's cultivation speed was too fast, to the point where he felt that he had wasted all his years. Teacher, everyone has their own fortuitous encounters. Although Wentian's talent is powerful, back then in the Sky Harmony City, who knew how powerful he would be and how far he would be able to walk? At that time, you didn't hesitate to bring us to the Sky Harmony City, and that was already the greatest kindness you can show to junior apprentice brother Wentian. Junior apprentice brother is a sentimental person, and he would naturally respect teacher. Old man, you shouldn't keep thinking about that. Luo Huan persuaded. She also knew that when a teacher was stronger than their disciple, they would display an imposing aura in front of their disciple. But if one day, the teacher discovered that their disciple was stronger than them, and would only grow stronger and stronger, it was inevitable that the teacher would feel that he wasn't worthy of his disciple. Thus, a gap would form between the teacher and the disciple. Qin Wentian wasn't such a person, and Luo Huan hoped that Mustang wouldn't think that way as well. If not, the relationship between the teacher and the disciple would only grow more and more distant. Fine, you only know how to talk. Fan Lo is already very powerful, you should work hard in your cultivation as well. Mustang laughed. Luo Huan hugged his arm as she smiled, don't worry, from now on I will follow this junior brother Wentian. I'm not afraid that he wouldn't protect me and my mother. Mustang shook his head with a bitter smile. Beside them, Bai Lu Yi was extremely interested. It seemed like Qin Wentian's experiences back then were extremely rich. Even his teacher and senior apprentice sister weren't as powerful as him. Just like what Qin Wentian had told her, he came from a small country called Chu, and he had persevered step by step until he had today's achievements. I hope you do well in the Heavenly Fate rankings. Mo Qingqing, she's there as well. You have to obtain a good result, and let the people of Grand Xia, as well as the Pill Emperor Hall, witness that you two are an immortal couple. Bai Lu Yi silently gave her blessings to Qin Wentian in her heart. Her gaze then shifted onto that beautiful silhouette, Mo Qingqing. She's so beautiful. Maybe only she and Qin Wentian are a match made in heaven. Bai Lu Yi smiled. She didn't know why, but there was a strange feeling in her heart. She felt a little sour, but even more than that, she still wished Qin Wentian well. Qin Wentian had chased after Qin Wentian all the way to the Moon Continent because of Mo Qingqing, and even risked his life to kill Hua Xiaoyun. How could they not be together? Qin Wentian, who was still in the midst of battle, naturally wouldn't know Bai Lu Yi's thoughts. At this moment, an illusory indigo robe had already appeared on his body. This indicated that he had already defeated 3 indigo-ranked warriors. Violet, Qin Wentian is going to challenge a violet-ranked warrior. Once he wins, he would be able to wear the violet battle robe and become the #1 contender under Chen Wang and Shirpatian. Would he be able to win? Out of the 100 platforms, Qin Wentian's platform attracted the most attention compared to the other platforms. In fact, he occupied more than half of the attention because of the violet-ranked warrior. Although the violet-ranked warrior was only at the 7th level of Yuanfu, his mandate of Daos was at the 2nd level. Not only that, his mandate was at the advanced boundary of the 2nd level. Spear, his opponent's weapon had always been a spear. Qin Wentian stared at the violet-ranked warrior. He had no idea what the mandate of the violet-ranked warrior was, and how strong would it be when it reached the advanced boundary of the 2nd level. For this battle, he had to win no matter what. This was his conviction. Only by fighting against a violet-ranked warrior at the advanced boundary would he be able to gauge how terrifying Chen Wang, who was at the peak of Yuanfu, was. Chi, Chi. An ear-piercing sound rang out as Qin Wentian only saw terrifying arcs of lightning flickering on the tip of his opponent's spear. The mandate of lightning. Qin Wentian's countenance stiffened. The power of lightning was extremely terrifying. If his opponent's mandate was at the 2nd level, as he thought of this, the bloodline in Qin Wentian's body surged. His physique was akin to that of a demonic beast from the primordial era, and at the same instant, his opponent made his move. A spear pierced out, accompanied by the roar of a lightning dragon. In an instant, a thunderous boom echoed out as Qin Wentian's body was enveloped in a dazzling light. Qin Wentian groaned in pain as his blood and qi churned wildly. Qin Wentian's entire body was charred black. If it weren't for the fact that his physique was extremely strong, he would have already been charred by the lightning. This was the power of lightning, too terrifying. Not only that, his opponent's strongest attack had yet to land. His opponent's spear contained a terrifying lightning dragon, and if it landed on Qin Wentian's body, the destructive force would be enough to tear Qin Wentian into pieces. The divine energy within Qin Wentian's body erupted forth as he blasted out with the dragon imprint. Instantly, the roar of a dragon echoed out as the force of nothingness blasted out, colliding with his opponent's lightning dragon spear as a terrifying shockwave blasted into the skies. Both of them were at the 7th level of Yuanfu. Qin Wentian had an absolute advantage in terms of strength, but his mandate was only at the initial level of the 2nd level, while the Violet Armored Warriors was at the advanced level of the 2nd level. A raging wind gusted by. Qin Wentian's silhouette was akin to a gust of wind as he directly pressed forward. His palms were so powerful that they could topple mountains and overturn seas. Demonic chi towered up into the skies, blocking the opponent's spear. Die. Qin Wentian's speed was incomparably fast. At the same level, the violet-armored warrior's speed couldn't compare to his. A pair of fearsome wings sprouted out from his back as he stared at the lightning dragon spear. The violet-armored warrior slashed out with his palm, akin to a bolt of lightning slashing through the air. This time around, how could Qin Wentian retreat when he was so close to him? His strength instantly erupted forth, colliding head-on with the palm imprint of his opponent. Pang! The violet-armored warrior's arm was directly shattered into pieces. Qin Wentian's silhouette flickered as he blasted his palm imprint onto his opponent's body. The violet-armored warrior had fallen. A violet-colored battle robe appeared on Qin Wentian's body. Who, violet battle robes, other than Chen Wang and Shirpatian, this is the most resplendent battle robe. This, astonishment, shock. 7th level of Yuanfu, what level of mandate did Qin Wentian's mandate reach? They couldn't tell because Qin Wentian's mandate was in the aspect of force. Without directly clashing with Qin Wentian, there was no way to tell. But no matter what, Qin Wentian had already donned the violet-colored battle robe. Although his cultivation base was at the 7th level of Yuanfu and his opponents were also at the 7th level of Yuanfu, this also proved that he was able to suppress opponents at the same level as him. Most probably, there wasn't a single 7th level Yuanfu cultivator who was as strong as him. At the 7th level of Yuanfu, Qin Wentian was only weaker than the two violet golden-robed warriors. Next, Qin Wentian challenged the two violet golden-robed warriors. When the two of them appeared, the gazes of the spectators landed on Qin Wentian. Could he still win this battle? If Qin Wentian won, he would be the same as Chen Wang and Shirpatian, donning the incomparably dazzling violet gold battle robe. However, it was impossible. After all, this time around, he was facing two violet golden-robed warriors. How terrifying would the combined might of their attacks be? Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with a heavy expression. He still wanted to win this battle. As long as he won, it would prove that he wasn't any weaker compared to Chen Wang and Shirpatian. Only then would he have the opportunity to challenge the two of them after his cultivation base rose to the next level. Even if he wasn't as strong as Chen Wang and Shirpatian, he still had to become the third ranker. If not, he wouldn't even be able to enter the top 3. This was his bottom line. However, his gaze was fixed on Chen Wang and Shirpatian. Hence, for the next battle, he could only win. Chapter 360. The two warriors were clad in violet gold armor, with long spears in their hands, exuding an intense sense of imposingness. Qin Wentian's countenance grew heavy. This time around, he didn't know what kind of mandates these two warriors had comprehended. He could only hope that their mandates weren't too monstrous. Although it was very difficult to categorize mandates, for example, mandates of wind, fire, thunder, great earth, etc., it was impossible to say which mandate was stronger. The crux of the matter was still how high the comprehension of the stellar martial cultivator was. For the same mandate, if different people comprehended it, the difference in the first level wouldn't be too great. This was because the foundation of all mandates was the same. But for the second level, it was different. Not only that, there were some people who had comprehended extremely rare mandates. For example, the mandate of space. Although one couldn't say for sure that it would be stronger than the mandates of fire or great earth, it did have its advantages. For the same person, if their comprehension of the mandate of space and the mandate of fire were similar, they might be able to unleash the power of their mandate of space in combat. But even so, you still couldn't say that the mandate of space was stronger than the mandate of fire. What if it was a different person? For some people who comprehended the mandate of fire, they could comprehend the second level of searing heart, able to incinerate the hearts of their opponents. Ordinary mandates of space wouldn't be able to achieve such might. The crux of the matter was still the comprehension of the person. Qin Wentian's second level of mandate of force was already not bad. The void shockwave he comprehended was able to kill through the void. If he were to attack in close combat, the might of his attacks would be even more terrifying. His attacks could directly impact the internal organs of his opponents. Hence, as long as those armored warriors came into contact with him, they would all be destroyed. The sound of the wind gusted by as the two warriors moved. One of them controlled the mandate of wind. And at the same time, a heavy pressure bore down on Qin Wentian. This was the power of the mandate of Great Earth. How fast? Qin Wentian suddenly saw a shadow. His body retreated, but the shadow descended in an instant. The long spear pierced through the air. The speed was so fast that people's eyes couldn't follow it. Qin Wentian hurriedly raised his hand to resist. The long spear pierced the demonic body, and a cracking sound rang out. The terrifying spear tip spun wildly, chasing after Qin Wentian, who was knocked back, as if it wanted to completely break his defense and send the long spear into his body. The other violet golden armored warrior also descended. The spear in his hand was incomparably heavy. Even before the spear arrived, Qin Wentian already felt as though his body was about to be torn apart. If he was struck by that spear, he didn't know what would happen to him. It's over. Upon seeing this scene, many in the crowd silently mused. The purple golden armored warrior controlled the mandate of wind. His body followed closely behind Qin Wentian, and his long spear continued pressing down. The platform wasn't large, and it only needed an instant for Qin Wentian to be blasted out of the platform, ending the battle. And indeed, in an instant, Qin Wentian had already arrived at the edge of the platform. Many in the crowd sighed in their hearts. It was a pity that Qin Wentian had to stop at the violet gold battle robes. Only Chen Wang and Shirpatian were qualified to wear the violet gold battle robes. Finally, Qin Wentian's silhouette vanished from the platform. Something's not right, the crowd suddenly discovered that Qin Wentian's silhouette was nowhere to be seen. He's over there, how could he be so fast? The crowd saw the silhouette of Qin Wentian appearing beside the purple golden armored warrior that was proficient in the mandate of wind. Success. Qin Wentian silently mused. Back then in the unmatched realm, he was able to mimic the abilities of demonic beasts and cultivated the 81 demonic innate techniques, as well as many innate techniques that he had learned from imitating demonic beasts. One of them, Rock Flash, was a technique that mimicked the terrifying speed of a golden-winged rock. It was able to cause one silhouette to disappear in an instant. Before this, although Qin Wentian had cultivated this technique, he was still lacking in maturity. Now that he was forced to the edge of the platform, he chose to unleash the Rock Flash instead. The violet golden armored warrior sensed that something was wrong. He abruptly turned around. Although his speed was extremely fast, how could he make it in time? Under Qin Wentian's attack, the violet golden armored warrior wasn't able to withstand it. After destroying this violet golden armored warrior, Qin Wentian stomped heavily on the ground, moving towards another violet golden armored warrior that was proficient in the mandate of earth. His body was like a demon, and his gaze was terrifying. This was an illusory armor that had no heart. If not, he would be able to use the heartbreak chime to attack. Now, it was a battle of strength. Qin Wentian collided with the violet golden armored warrior, causing a deafening sound to echo out. The terrifying shockwaves churned violently, and Qin Wentian felt as though his arms were about to shatter. Groaning in agony, Qin Wentian coughed out a mouthful of blood. His opponent's second-level mandate of earth was similar to his void shockwave, a type of vibrational attack that caused him to feel as though his body was about to be torn apart. However, the defense of the violet golden armored warrior wasn't as strong as Qin Wentian's demonic physique. He was illusory, and the seventh level of Yuanfu was based on Wuxia, who was at the peak of the seventh level of Yuanfu. Hence, Qin Wentian's attack destroyed him. A violet gold light flashed, enveloping Qin Wenqian's body. He was like a violet gold war god, exuding a fearsome might. Violet gold battle robe. The gazes of the spectators froze. Qin Wenqian was clad in a violet gold battle robe. Such a level of combat prowess was already extremely terrifying. Even someone with a second-level mandate, at the advanced boundary, was crushed by Qin Wenqian. Not only that, there were two of them. Maybe there's a second-level mandate hidden in his attacks as well. Someone in the crowd speculated as they stared at Qin Wenqian. Chen Wang and Shirpatian also saw this scene. This was the third person to be clad in a violet gold battle robe. However, this person was only at the 7th level of Yuanfu, and his battle robe was as dazzling as the rest of them. Many of the spectators frowned in disdain. For example, Zhang Chen and the rest. Although Qin Wenqian's combat prowess was high, he was participating in the heavenly fate rankings, and his opponents wouldn't suppress their cultivation bases to fight against him. Qin Wenqian could only be considered lucky. On the platform, a total of 3 warriors clad in platinum-colored battle robes appeared. The platinum-colored battle robes exuded a sense of nobility and majesty, as though it was the armor of an emperor. Both Chen Wang and Shirpatian failed to equip it. And now, Qin Wenqian was the third person to challenge the platinum-colored battle robes. 3. This time around, would Qin Wenqian still be able to win? In the air, Old Man Tianji and the rest also turned their gazes onto Qin Wenqian. Their countenances were calm, with no fluctuations in the slightest. Those from the Hua clan, Pil Emperor Hall, and Ouyang aristocrat clan all noticed this. Luo he glanced at Mo Qingcheng. She didn't use her full strength, and only wore a simple yellow battle robe. Maybe to Mo Qingcheng, her purpose in participating in the heavenly fate rankings wasn't to obtain a high ranking, but rather, for him. Master, junior sister Qingcheng concocted the limit break pellet, Bai Fei, who stood behind Luo he, cautiously reported. I know. Luo he replied in a cold tone, as though she was unhappy. Limit break pellets were concocted by Mo Qingcheng using her blood, sweat, and tears, all for Qin Wenqian. Qin Wenqian's cultivation base was the same as the last time they met, but Luo he knew that as long as he consumed the limit break pellet, Qin Wenqian's cultivation base would leap up to the 8th level of Yuanfu. Right now, with his cultivation base at the 7th level of Yuanfu, he was already invincible against those at the same cultivation level. In that case, the 8th level of Yuanfu shouldn't be too far off. Not only that, he should be able to contend against the vast majority of 9th level Yuanfu cultivators. However, it was impossible for Mo Qingcheng to allow him to defeat Zhang Chen. Luo he had heard her master mention Zhang Chen's current strength before, and she knew that it wasn't as simple as it seemed. It had been a very long time since the Pil Emperor Hall had produced such a shocking character on the heavenly fate rankings. Previously, although Zhang Chen was ranked number 11, he wasn't even in the top 10. This wasn't something to be proud of. For the ranking battle this time around, the Pil Emperor Hall needed Zhang Chen to be able to advance. On the platform, the 3 platinum-ranked warriors around Qin Wenqian had already made their moves. A terrifying vortex manifested around Qin Wenqian, wanting to devour him whole. There was no hope for him in this battle. The 3 platinum-ranked warriors attacked at the same time, trapping Qin Wenqian in the middle. A terrifying golden light enveloped the entire area. The 3 platinum-ranked warriors had all comprehended the mandate of metal, and under their combined attacks, Qin Wenqian had no way to escape to the heavens, no way to the earth. Danger, such an attack, are they trying to kill Qin Wenqian? That platinum-ranked warrior, at this moment, the spectators all had astonished expressions on their faces. Qin Wenqian, would he be the first to die on the platform? Qin Wenqian was someone who had made it all the way to the platinum-ranked warrior stage, yet he had no way to counter such an attack. This. Qin Wenqian's countenance changed, but he had no time to hesitate. His eyes flashed with a terrifying sharpness, and with a single point of his finger, a terrifying vortex of demonic chi appeared, transforming into boundless might that slammed into one of the platinum-ranked warriors, instantly annihilating it. At the same time, a fearsome ancient shield materialized around his body, enveloping him completely. Kaboom! How terrifying was the attack power of the long spear. Even though the ancient shield was condensed from divine energy and was glowing with the light of divine inscriptions, it was still forcefully broken apart. However, the attack of the platinum-armored warrior was also slowed down. Qin Wentian grabbed out with his palm, his golden dragon claw explosively lashed out, directly landing on the head of one of the platinum-ranked warriors. Qin Wentian didn't care about his life at all. As expected, his attack caused the spear of the strongest platinum-ranked warrior to pierce into his body. Fresh blood flowed out, and his body seemed to solidify into a golden color. However, Qin Wentian's eyes were still as cold as ever. His palm slashed out, and the platinum-ranked warrior was directly cleaved into two. At this moment, countless gazes froze on the spot. That finger technique and the strength of that claw, as well as the ability to exchange injuries for attacks, was simply too insane. Qin Wentian broke through, and not only that, he only used an instant. An illusory platinum-ranked battle robe appeared on Qin Wentian's body, causing the spectators to forget about his injuries and his coughing. They also didn't know how much divine energy Qin Wentian had expended in that instant of attack. They only saw that he was clad in a platinum-ranked battle robe. Even Chen Wang and Shirpatian couldn't do it. Chapter 361. The platinum battle robes on Qin Wentian's body shimmered, and on the platform, there were no more warriors. This indicated that Qin Wentian had already reached the pinnacle of the same level. Other than him, there was no one else who could match the platinum battle robes. Sadly, he was born at the wrong time. What a pity. Many in the crowd silently mused. If only Qin Wentian had another year or two, his cultivation base would have already stepped into the 8th or 9th level of Yuanfu. At that time, his will of mandates would be even more powerful, and at that time, he would be able to contend against Chen Wang and Shirpatian for the most dazzling position in the heavenly fate rankings. And as for now, although he had donned the platinum battle robes and performed exceptionally well, the disparity between him and Chen Wang was still insurmountable. Regardless of cultivation base, mandates, or innate techniques, he would definitely be suppressed. There was no way for him to compete against Chen Wang. Maybe he could be the same as Chen Wang and endure for 3 more years. In the ranking battle 3 years from now, he would have a chance to become one of the top 3 rankers. Qin Wentian walked up the platform. The blood on his chest seemed to have been frozen by the mandate of gold. Earlier, the attacks from the 3 warriors had caught him off guard. Qin Wentian sat cross-legged, silently recuperating at the side. A medicinal pill flew over, and Qin Wentian didn't even need to think, he directly swallowed it. Such a scene caused many to have bewildered expressions on their faces as they cast deep glances at Mo Qincheng. That medicinal pill had been flicked out by Mo Qincheng. She had actually given it to Qin Wentian. Could it be that after seeing Qin Wentian donning the platinum battle robes, she had developed feelings for Qin Wentian? However, this didn't seem realistic. Mo Qincheng didn't even accept Hua Taishu's advances. She might have only helped Qin Wentian because she saw that he was injured. However, Qin Wentian didn't stand on ceremony at all. After swallowing the medicinal pill, he didn't even say a word of thanks as he continued to recuperate. As for the other participants, they all continued to challenge the heavenly fate rankings. The number of people who didn't have a chance to obtain the yellow-colored battle robe grew more and more as they left in dejection. However, there was one person who attracted the attention of the crowd. Because this person's countenance was extremely unfamiliar, many didn't know who he was, and he wasn't a ranker on the heavenly fate rankings. With a cultivation base at the 9th level of Yuanfu, one could very well imagine how powerful Qin Wentian's combat prowess was. For a period of time, Qin Wentian's limelight directly surpassed that of Qin Wentian. After all, Qin Wentian's cultivation base was at the 7th level of Yuanfu. This was the ranking battle of the Heavenly Fate rankings, and although one's combat prowess at the same level would cause others to sigh in admiration, this ranking battle still depended on who was the strongest. After this person obtained the violet gold battle robes, his name was Si Qiong. No one had ever heard of this person. They didn't even know his background. Apart from that, when this round of battles ended, quite a few powerful figures had emerged. They hadn't revealed themselves before, but now that they had all erupted with power, it caused everyone to have a whole new level of respect for them. In the end, the one who put on the platinum robe was Qin Wentian. There were a total of 3 who had donned the violet gold battle robes, Chen Wang, Sherpatian, and Si Qiong. Other than that, there were a total of 5 who had donned the violet gold battle robes, Yan Cheng, Leng Hong, Qin Zheng, Yao Jun, and Hua Shaoqing. These 5 people were extremely unexpected, but Yan Cheng and Yao Jun weren't too shocking. After all, the Swallow Swordsman, Yan Cheng, was originally ranked number 8 on the Heavenly Fate rankings, while Yao Jun from the Sky Demon sect was ranked number 13. The Heavenly Fate rankings were as common as the clouds, so it wasn't surprising for a few of them to erupt with power. However, Leng Hong, Qin Zheng, and Hua Shaoqing were truly shocking. Leng Hong was somewhat similar to Si Qiong, nobody knew his background. Occasionally, 1 or 2 people would say that Leng Hong was a wanderer who roamed Grand Xia. Qin Zheng was a stranger in Grand Xia, but for those who cultivated in the unmatched realm, they would definitely have heard of him. And finally, Hua Shaoqing, he was actually someone from the Hua clan. Initially, the spectators thought that after Hua Taishu, the next pillar of the Hua clan would be Hua Feng, but who would have thought that Hua Shaoqing would appear instead? This caused many to smell an unusual aura. The younger generation of the Hua clan was filled with geniuses, and they had always been hiding Hua Shaoqing. Unknowingly, Hua Shaoqing had already become so powerful. The ambitions of the Hua clan weren't small at all. The battles of Si Qiong, Leng Hong, Qin Zheng, and Hua Shaoqing were all witnessed by the spectators. These 4 might very well be the dark horses of the Heavenly Fate rankings this time around. For this round of battles, the elimination rate was exceedingly high. Only less than 1,000 remained, but those who remained were even more terrifying. To be able to defeat the 3 yellow-robed warriors, one of their mandates must be at the perfection boundary. Not only that, the majority of participants were all at the 9th level of Yuanfu. For them to be able to wear the yellow robes, other than having a mandate at the perfection boundary, they had to be at the peak of the 9th level of Yuanfu. For the Heavenly Fate rankings, the elites of Yuanfu in Grand Xia were all gathered here. For this round of battles, the majority of them fought with all their might. Naturally, there were also some who had different personalities. They chose to conceal some of their strength, hoping to catch their opponents off guard and surprise them in the later rounds. The crowd on both sides of the path continued on their way, entering the depths of the Grand Xia Empire. The ranking battle had been held many times already, they naturally understood the rules. The next round would only be even more intense. Not only that, the ranking of the Heavenly Fate rankings would also be temporarily determined. All 360 spots would be allocated. The next round of battles would be the true prelude to determining the final rankings of the Heavenly Fate rankings. The next round would begin, the fight for the ancient luck of Grand Xia. In the hallway, old man Tianji stared ahead, staring at the crowd. After which, his gaze landed on Qin Wentian as he spoke, the one clad in the platinum battle robes shall be the first to pass through the ancient gate. The ancient gate contains the ancient luck of Grand Xia. All of you shall be able to seize the ancient luck of your opponents, and when only 360 people possess the ancient luck, that shall be the end of this round. At that time, you shall be ranked accordingly. Qin Wentian's gaze turned towards the end of the battle platforms. Over there was an ancient gate. Standing up, Qin Wentian slowly walked forward. Wait a minute. At this moment, a low voice drifted over, causing Qin Wentian to halt his steps. Turning his head, Qin Wentian's gaze landed on the person who spoke. It was none other than Chen Wang. "You are not suitable to be the first to enter," Chen Wang calmly stated, his eyes staring ahead. He didn't even bother to look at Qin Wentian. He initially thought that no one would be able to surpass him in the violet gold battle robes. However, Qin Wentian had actually donned the platinum battle robe, snatching away the opportunity for him to be the first to enter the ancient gate. "What do you mean?" Qin Wentian frowned as he faintly inquired. Chen Wang still didn't look at Qin Wentian. Instead, he turned his gaze in the direction of old man Tianji as he spoke. "Senior, according to the rules, the order of entry can be determined according to the number of battle robes one possesses. But as long as he chooses to give up, he can do so. Am I right?" "Yes," old man Tianji replied, "but only if he is willing to give up." Those from the great Solar Chen clan all had smiles on their faces. Chen Wang wanted to be the first to enter the ancient gate, the first person to receive ancient luck. The spectators all had expressions of interest on their faces when they saw this scene. Those who knew the rules of the heavenly fate rankings all understood why Chen Wang wanted to be the first to enter. Because he had the strength to do so, he wanted to obtain the recognition of ancient luck. As for Qin Wentian, although he had donned the platinum battle robe, his cultivation base was still too low. The order of entry wouldn't change the final result, but Chen Wang still wanted to be the first. Firstly, the meaning behind it was different. "You will give up on your own, right?" Chen Wang's gaze finally landed on Qin Wentian as he calmly asked. Qin Wentian similarly stared at him. He didn't say anything. Inside, there's a ceiling formation. When seizing ancient luck, you can also take the life of the person who possesses it. Chen Wang continued, the meaning of his words were already clear. Chen Wang wanted to be the first to enter, he was threatening Qin Wentian. "You are the violet gold battle robe." At this moment, Qin Wentian finally spoke, his words causing Chen Wang to frown. What was the meaning of his words? "As for me, I am the platinum battle robe." Qin Wentian continued. After which, he turned and continued walking forward. Instantly, a cold light flickered in Chen Wang's eyes as killing intent flickered within. Qin Wentian persisted, he wanted to be the first to enter. "The violet gold battle robe user, second." Old man Tianji glanced at the crowd as he spoke again. However, Chen Wang and the rest were exceptionally calm. As long as they weren't the first to enter, what was the point? Especially to Chen Wang. Qin Wentian pushed open the door and stepped inside. A bright light flashed as he appeared on the peak of an ancient mountain. This scene caused a look of astonishment to appear on his face. Was this a spatial formation? He saw spatial energy again. In the air, a terrifying pressure bore down, causing Qin Wentian's body to stiffen. He didn't even have the time to survey his surroundings before he inclined his head and stared up at the sky. In the next instant, Qin Wentian's gaze froze. In the air, there seemed to be a screen of light that enveloped the entire sky. Within that screen of light, fire-colored chi flowed as an incomparably majestic demonic beast hovered in the air, staring down at the world below. On top of its golden wings, a crimson glow could be seen circulating with a dark luster, exuding a sense of majesty. This demonic beast had 9 tails, and its body was incomparably huge. The entire array was pressed under its body, as if it was the soul of the array. Its eyes were incomparably sharp, as though they could penetrate through people. And right now, those eyes were staring right at Qin Wentian, causing Qin Wentian to feel a sense of suffocation. Divine bird, vermilion bird. The totem beast of the ancient kingdom of Grand Xia. Once upon a time, the citizens of Grand Xia all worshipped the vermilion bird as their divine spirit, their totem. But now, thousands of years had passed. Grand Xia was no longer the Grand Xia of the past, and the rumors about the vermilion bird grew fewer and fewer. Yet the vermilion bird in the air seemed to have a life of its own. It was currently staring at Qin Wentian. The first person to enter actually only has a cultivation base at the 7th level of Yuanfu, yet he's clad in a platinum-colored battle robe. A cold and dignified voice drifted over, causing Qin Wentian to feel an even more intense feeling of imposingness. I shall bestow upon you the ancient luck of purgatory. The vermilion bird spoke again. After which, it opened its beak and spat out a beam of light towards Qin Wentian. Instantly, an illusory vermilion bird appeared behind Qin Wentian. It was none other than the purgatory vermilion bird. Chapter 362. Qin Wentian inclined his head and stared at the gigantic vermilion bird in the air as his heart trembled. Ancient luck. It was rumored that the purpose of the ranking battle of the heavenly fate rankings was to seize ancient luck, to contend for heavenly fate. At this moment, the purgatory vermilion bird appeared behind him. It wasn't large in size, yet it exuded a baleful aura. Its body was a mix of crimson and black, giving off a stifling feeling. The eyes of the purgatory vermilion bird drifted in the air. Only now did Qin Wentian start to survey his surroundings. The place he was in was actually a mountain range, and in the distance, there was a boundless spatial zone. Through the use of spatial energy, he had actually stepped into a formation world. This formation world was ancient and filled with the vicissitudes of time. There was a very high possibility that this was something left behind by an ancient dynasty. It was unknown how terrifying one's strength must be in order to enter a formation world. The purgatory vermilion bird let out a low-sounding screech, as though it wasn't an illusory body, but an actual existence. Qin Wentian's terrifying perception gushed forth, and at the same time, his silhouette flickered, wanting to see what kind of space he was in exactly. However, not long after, he abruptly turned his head, staring in the direction of a mountain rampart as a sharp light flickered in his eyes. Over there. Qin Wentian instantly turned and flew in that direction. An instant later, he stood in front of a mountain rampart as a terrifying might gushed forth from it. On the rampart of the mountain, a terrifying gigantic axe could be seen. It was unknown how many years this axe had been here for. It was extremely ancient, yet there weren't any traces of rust on it. The most terrifying thing was the might exuding from the axe, causing people to feel fear in their hearts. What a powerful divine weapon! Qin Wentian's silhouette flickered, his palms instantly grasped onto the hilt of the axe as he violently tried to pull it out. However, he discovered that the axe didn't budge in the slightest. No matter how much strength he exerted, the axe was still quietly stuck in the ground. What kind of place is this? Qin Wentian was shocked in his heart. Just by standing here, he could feel the terrifying will of the axe. It was as if the axe light could split him in half at any time. Qin Wentian retreated, and the wings of a great rock appeared behind him. His body suddenly changed direction, and like a great rock, he flashed away, leaving this place. He wanted to see what kind of world this was. Not too long after, Qin Wentian stood in the middle of a vast ocean. The place he was standing on was a gigantic reef, and in front of him, there was a terrifying coldness emanating from it. There seemed to be a whirlpool there that led to the depths of the ocean. However, Qin Wentian didn't take the risk. He was a cautious person, and if he didn't have the slightest confidence, he wouldn't do such a reckless thing. However, he faintly understood why there were some people who had already reached the Heavenly Dipper realm when their mandates had already reached the Heavenly Dipper realm. Although there weren't many people like this, only those ranked at the top of the Heavenly Fate rankings, it was enough to make Qin Wentian feel that the Heavenly Fate rankings had something they wanted to pursue. Inclining his head, Qin Wentian stared at the skies. The gigantic vermilion bird was still there, as though it was the ruler of this world. On the shore, a silhouette could be seen slowly walking forward. This silhouette was a middle-aged man clad in a windbreaker. He was extremely old, yet he still hadn't broken through to Heavenly Dipper. This could only mean that his talent wasn't high, but it didn't mean that his strength was weak in the Yuanfu realm. This person was also a ranker on the Heavenly Fate rankings, and was ranked within the top 100. Behind him, the shadow of a vermilion bird could be seen hovering. However, this vermilion bird was different from the one behind Qin Wentian. It was an ordinary vermilion bird, unlike Qin Wentian's purgatory vermilion bird. The battle shadow of this person was a yellow-colored battle robe. This person slowly walked forward, glancing in the direction of Qin Wentian before continuing forward. Over there, Qin Wentian saw a familiar silhouette, Li Shiyu from the unmatched realm. Li Shiyu's talent could be considered outstanding in the Mystic Maiden Palace. Not only that, she had already broken through to the 9th level of Yuanfu, and was also qualified to enter the formation. The speed of the middle-aged man abruptly increased. Li Shiyu furrowed her brows as she abruptly turned and fled. The two of them chased after each other at an extremely fast speed. However, the middle-aged man still managed to catch up to Li Shiyu. The middle-aged man directly launched an attack against her as both of their astral souls erupted forth. The astral soul released by the middle-aged man was actually a blood-colored silhouette that exuded an evil aura. The mandate he was proficient in was actually at the perfection boundary of the mandate of blood. Other than that, his mandate of wind and mandate of metal were both at the perfection boundary. Although Li Shiyu was equally powerful, she soon found herself unable to endure any longer. She coughed out blood, dyeing her robes red. Qin Wentian merely watched on calmly. Although they were both cultivators from the unmatched realm, the two of them didn't have much of a relationship. Back then, Li Shiyu even wanted to separate Fan Lu and Xian Xian. Naturally, Qin Wentian had no reason to help her. At the end of the battle, Li Shiyu was defeated. Qin Wentian discovered that the vermilion bird behind the middle-aged man had actually devoured the shadow of the vermilion bird behind Li Shiyu. This caused the aura of the vermilion bird behind the middle-aged man to grow stronger by several degrees. Li Shiyu's silhouette abruptly vanished from sight as she was teleported out of the formation, causing Qin Wentian to sigh in amazement. Is this what it means to seize ancient luck? Qin Wentian's heart trembled. So it turned out that the battle for ancient luck was so cruel. Whoever was defeated would have their ancient luck seized away, and be kicked out of the Heavenly Fate rankings. After the middle-aged man defeated Li Shiyu, he turned his head and glanced at Qin Wentian, hesitating for a moment. After which, it was as though he had made a decision. His silhouette flickered as he floated towards Qin Wentian. The middle-aged man floated in the air, staring at Qin Wentian as he coldly stated, "Although you're extraordinary, your cultivation base is too weak. Why don't you give me the ancient luck of the purgatory vermilion bird?" Qin Wentian turned his gaze onto the middle-aged man, only to see that on the forehead of the middle-aged man's vermilion bird, there were 2 dots of light. This indicated that the 2 vermilion birds had fused together. As the sound of his voice faded, the vermilion bird above his head flew towards the purgatory vermilion bird hovering above Qin Wentian as it let out a shrill cry. The purgatory vermilion bird similarly let out a shrill cry, causing the middle-aged man to furrow his brows. "If you don't make it submit, I can only act personally and make you suffer a little before seizing your ancient luck." A cold light flickered in Qin Wentian's eyes. Momentarily, the might of his vermilion bird grew even stronger, clashing head-on with the middle-aged man's vermilion bird. Their minds are actually linked. Qin Wentian finally understood how the middle-aged man had managed to devour Li Shiyu's ancient luck. "What's the use of gathering the ancient luck of the vermilion bird?" Qin Wentian asked. Hasn't anyone told you before? Gathering ancient luck, condensing the true body of the vermilion bird, and opening the ancient ruins of Grand Xia. But your strength is so weak, so what if you know? An overwhelming pressure gushed forth from the middle-aged man as an evil astral soul floated above him, resembling a pair of crimson eyes. This caused the blood in Qin Wentian's body to seethe in agitation. Qin Wentian laughed. Although this middle-aged man appeared to be looking down on him, he was actually extremely cautious. He intentionally used words to probe Qin Wentian, but he didn't dare to directly make a move. He wanted to probe Qin Wentian's strength. This middle-aged man was rather old, yet he had yet to comprehend a second-level mandate. It wasn't that he didn't want to break through to Heavenly Dipper, but rather, it was impossible for him to do so. He had been stuck at the Heavenly Fate rankings for so many years, and had been surpassed by countless others. Seeing those people breaking through to Heavenly Dipper, he naturally didn't feel good. But he would come here every 3 years to search for an opportunity. Being able to survive each time was naturally due to his cautious nature. The power of my bloodline isn't something you can shake. Since you want to seize my ancient luck, hand it over. Qin Wentian soared up into the air, dashing towards the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man frowned as he turned and fled. Qin Wentian laughed as he chased after him. Bzzz. Abruptly, the middle-aged man spun and lunged towards Qin Wentian. His mandate of blood erupted forth as he grabbed out with his palms, wanting to tear out Qin Wentian's flesh and blood. His speed was so fast that no one could evade it. This middle-aged man hadn't comprehended a second-level mandate yet, so how could Qin Wentian fear him? He lifted his palms and punched out. At the instant the two of them collided, Qin Wentian only felt the blood in his body churning madly, as though it was about to explode. The blood-red glow on his arms flared up, but the middle-aged man didn't have it any better. He clashed with Qin Wentian at close range, and the mandate of nothingness directly penetrated into the middle-aged man's body. You. The middle-aged man stared at Qin Wentian. This was a second-level mandate. Ping. Qin Wentian's palms continued pressing forward as an even more terrifying shockwave gushed forth. The purgatory vermilion bird howled in agony as it spat out a mouthful of blood. The purgatory vermilion bird shrieked as it swallowed the purgatory vermilion bird. An instant later, the middle-aged man was swept out of the formation world. The vermilion bird hovering above Qin Wentian had 3 dots of light on its forehead. Its aura has grown stronger, and its illusory body seems to have become more corporeal. Qin Wentian was somewhat bewildered. Plundering ancient luck was truly cruel. Qin Wentian's silhouette flickered, and on his way, he encountered 6 to 7 people. Without any mishaps, all of their ancient luck was plundered by him. The vermilion bird hovering above Qin Wentian actually had a corporeal body, and a vertical beam of light could be seen in the center of its brows, exuding an even more terrifying baleful aura. The aura emanating from it was actually at the first level of Yuanfu. In the external world of the ancient kingdom of Grand Xia, the gazes of the spectators were all focused on the formation world in the center. The world of the formation world was incomparably clear, but in their eyes, it was so small that they could see what was happening within. Chen Wang and Sherpatian are so crazy, there's already 2 vertical beams of light. Si Qiong as well, and Zhan Chen as well. These few people are the most frenzied when it comes to plundering ancient luck. For every dot of light that appeared in the center of their brows, it meant that one person had been eliminated. For every vertical beam of light, it meant that 10 people had been eliminated. With Qin Wentian's strength, he can actually defeat those rankers on the Heavenly Fate rankings. Seems like his mandates have already reached the second level. Only those with second-level mandates at the 9th level of Yuanfu would be able to suppress him. Look at that damned fatty, isn't he too shameless? He's actually hiding under a rock by the sea, cultivating. Someone glanced at the silhouette of a fatty. That damned fatty was simply shameless to the extreme. He wanted to hide and cultivate until the end, yet he still managed to preserve his ancient luck and successfully enter the Heavenly Fate rankings. One couldn't help but to say that such a method was simply too shameless. Chen Wang and Sherpatian have encountered each other, but they didn't clash head-on. Evidently, they want to save their battle for the very last moment. That direction, that's Qin Wentian's direction. Qin Wentian is going to encounter Chen Wang, he's going to be in for it. At this moment, the spectators discovered that in that space, Qin Wentian and Chen Wang were currently facing each other. However, since they were in the world of the formation world, they didn't know that the other party was approaching. Earlier, Qin Wentian had offended Chen Wang. This time around, he would definitely be in for it. Chapter 363. The Vermilion Bird Formation Array was a supreme formation that had existed since the time of the ancient kingdom of Grand Xiao. It was incomparably ancient, and even after the 9 grand clans had betrayed the ancient kingdom, they still had no way to take control of the Vermilion Bird Formation Array. This formation was something they couldn't break. Only those at the Yuanfu realm could enter. Hence, out of the 18 training grounds of Grand Xia, the Vermilion Bird Training Grounds of Ancient Xia was ranked number 1 for Yuanfu cultivators. Even after thousands of years, these transcendent powers still hadn't given up on the Vermilion Bird Formation. Every time the Heavenly Fate rankings were held, they would send their strongest experts over to see if they could uncover the secrets of the Vermilion Bird Formation. In the thousands of years after the ancient kingdom of Grand Xia was destroyed, there were also a few outstanding geniuses who managed to obtain great benefits from the Vermilion Bird Formation. It was rumored that the Azure Emperor obtained an extremely powerful cultivation art from the Vermilion Bird Formation, but no one knew exactly what it was. Qin Wentian naturally didn't know the history of the Vermilion Bird Formation. He only felt that this formation was extraordinary, to think that it could even give birth to a vermilion bird spirit. Based on his current strength, he had no way to see through this formation. He only knew that this formation was extremely vast, and after 3 days, he only met 10 or so people. He also saw many ancient ruins, some of which had already been excavated by others. Naturally, he wouldn't be able to get a share of them. There were also some ancient ruins that he couldn't touch, such as the gigantic axe embedded into the stone walls. In fact, Qin Wentian could just stay at a certain location and spend some time inscribing a 4th-ranked divine inscription formation. That way, no one would be able to do anything to him. But this formation was simply too vast, and the only way to do so was to go out and plunder the ancient ruins. His powerful perception continued extending outwards in all directions. Not long after, a silhouette appeared in his perception, causing him to halt his steps. Chen Wang. Chen Wang of the Great Solar Chen clan had come here for the sake of obtaining the top ranker on the Heavenly Fate rankings. He was originally ranked 2nd, behind Hua Taishu, and now Hua Taishu was already attempting to break through to the 2nd level of Heavenly Dipper while Chen Wang was still in Yuanfu. But one could very well imagine how much of an advantage Chen Wang would have when he was in Yuanfu. His mandate had already broken through to the 2nd level of Heavenly Dipper, and his mandate of flames was already at the advanced boundary of the 2nd level. It was still unknown if this was Chen Wang's limit. But one thing was for sure. In the ranking battle for the Heavenly Fate rankings, no one dared to antagonize Chen Wang. Qin Wentian calmly turned around and walked back the way he came, causing the crowd to freeze. Qin Wentian and Chen Wang were about to meet, but he actually turned around first. Was it a coincidence, or was Qin Wentian's perception stronger than Chen Wang's? He already knew where the King of Chen was. And indeed, Chen Wang didn't discover Qin Wentian's presence. He continued moving forward at his original speed, neither hurried nor slow. The battle that everyone thought was about to erupt didn't happen. Chen Wang changed his direction, his silhouette flickered as he increased his speed. He knew how vast this space was, and he had to increase his speed when plundering ancient luck. Under the bewildered gazes of the crowd, Qin Wentian didn't leave. Instead, he actually followed after Chen Wang. This caused the crowd to sigh in admiration at how audacious this young man was. Or maybe it was because of his overwhelming confidence in his perception, he actually dared to follow after Chen Wang. It's Qin Zheng, that dark horse. His surname is the same as Qin Wentian's, and he's about to meet with Chen Wang. The spectators outside could see everything clearly. The ones they paid the most attention to were Chen Wang, Shirpatian, Wang Ju, and the others. And now, the dark horses Si Qiong, Qin Zheng and Hua Shaoqing were also starting to attract the attention of the crowd. And as expected, Chen Wang and Qin Zheng met. Evidently, Chen Wang had plundered more ancient luck than Qin Zheng. His luck was also extraordinary, it was a golden-feathered vermilion bird, while Qin Zheng's was an ordinary vermilion bird. Do you want to hand over the ancient luck yourself, or do you want me to act personally? Chen Wang stared at the shadow of the vermilion bird above Qin Zheng. There were 5 dots of light on Qin Zheng's forehead, and as long as he plundered them, it would be equivalent to plundering ancient luck 5 times. Chen Wang. Qin Zheng casually laughed. You won't be able to obtain my ancient luck. A cold smile appeared on Chen Wang's face. With a cold snort, he stepped out. His arms were bright red, like they were made of fire. The temperature in the air rose as a terrifying heat filled the air. It was as if all the moisture in the air near Chen Wang had evaporated. Seems like you don't believe me. Qin Zheng laughed. Chen Wang coldly snorted as an incomparably tyrannical fist light blasted through the air. A terrifying flaming fist light swept through the air, filled with a terrifying berserk intent. Not only that, its speed was also extremely fast. Boom! The terrifying fiery fist slammed into Qin Zheng's body. However, the spectators discovered that Qin Zheng's silhouette had already appeared at the side. In that instant earlier, he had changed his position, and his speed was incomparably fast. Chen Wang slowly stepped out, his palms grabbing out in the air as a terrifying fiery palm imprint directly slammed into Qin Zheng's body. Such an innate technique caused the spectators to be filled with awe. Break! Qin Zheng spat out a single word as the fiery palm imprint shattered. At the same time, Chen Wang's silhouette appeared, the light of the great sun radiating from him was incomparably resplendent. Each and every one of the beams of light from the great sun could blind the eyes of the spectators. Qin Zheng closed his eyes, and when Qin Zheng's great sun sword slashed down, his silhouette vanished once more. In an instant, he reappeared in front of Chen Wang. His palms slashed out. Qin Zheng's palms were akin to the edge of a blade, exuding a terrifying slicing energy. Chen Wang's left hand smashed out, his entire arm glowing red as he directly blocked the slicing energy. The terrifying temperature caused Qin Zheng's palms to turn red as well. Break! Qin Zheng coldly snorted. His palms slashed out as his sleeves were set ablaze, charring his entire arm. Chen Wang's red-hot arm seemed to have been burned off, and when his arm returned to normal, his sleeves had already been burnt to a crisp. Traces of blood could be seen on his arm. Mandate of space. Chen Wang mumbled, staring at the wound on his arm. With such a mandate, no wonder he is so confident. Inclining his head, Chen Wang's eyes were like the blazing sun. The flames around him towered up into the skies, and as the sun appeared, the entire space around him seemed to be boiling. His silhouette flickered as he lunged towards his opponent, akin to a blazing sun. Everywhere he passed by, everything would be scorched into ashes. Incinerate! Chen Wang coldly snorted. The light from the great sun gushed forth towards Qin Zheng. Qin Zheng's 2 wheels of mandates gushed forth from his body. After which, his palms slashed out in the air as an incomparably resplendent great slicer sword slashed down from the skies, cleaving apart the great sun, transforming it into boundless flames that continued gushing towards Qin Zheng. However, given how fast Qin Zheng's speed was, he instantly vanished from sight, retreating far away. Spatial laceration, infused with the mandate of wind, resulting in the might of the great slicing sword. Chen Wang stared at Qin Zheng as he asked, "Who are you?" Qin Zheng of the unmatched realm. Your mandate bestowed upon you an extremely powerful ability to evade, but do you think you still have a chance in a decisive battle? Chen Wang stared at Qin Zheng. His combat prowess was obviously higher than Qin Zheng's, but his control over the mandate of space and mandate of wind was extremely high, and his ability to evade was also exceedingly high. Chen Wang, don't think that you're unrivaled in this ranking battle. Let's not talk about a decisive battle first. Even if you don't know that you're being followed, you're still talking about a decisive battle. Qin Jing laughed. Chen Wang's eyes flashed. Abruptly, his perception expanded outwards. Qin Wentian silently cursed. This Qin Jing was too dishonest. His silhouette flickered as he instantly fled. Chen Wang sensed something, his countenance abruptly changed. His silhouette was like the wind, as he chased after Qin Wentian with the speed of lightning. Evidently, he had sensed the fluctuations of Qin Wentian's aura. Based on strength alone, Qin Wentian didn't believe that he would be able to contend against Chen Wang. Qin Wentian. Chen Wang grinned malevolently. He was at the peak of the 9th level of Yuanfu, and although Qin Wentian cultivated a movement technique, so did Chen Wang. In terms of speed, Chen Wang was clearly faster than Qin Wentian. After all, there was a huge disparity in their cultivation bases. You won't be able to escape. Chen Wang could already see Qin Wentian's silhouette. The distance between the two of them shortened, and the great solar radiance radiating from Chen Wang was extremely terrifying. After which, Chen Wang flicked his finger as a few great solar swords slashed downwards. Qin Wentian turned and blasted out a dragon imprint. However, the great solar swords were incomparably resplendent, directly shattering the dragon imprint. The aftershock of the great solar swords slammed into Qin Wentian's body. Qin Wentian's countenance was as cold as ice. He continued advancing forward. The wings of the great rock behind him flapped rapidly as a cave dwelling appeared in front of him. The interior of the cave was extremely dark, and with a flicker of his silhouette, he dashed inside. Courting death. Seeing this, Chen Wang laughed coldly. He didn't slow down at all as his body was bathed in flames. The great solar universe energy was able to incinerate everything in its path. Descending into the cave, Chen Wang strode forward. The instant he stepped into the cave, a terrifying pressure gushed over him, causing his long hair and robes to flutter violently. Chen Wang's countenance turned cold as he blasted out a beam of great solar light from his palms. Boom! His heart seemed to tremble slightly, contracting violently. Following which, an even more terrifying attack destroyed the scorching sun, destroying everything and piercing towards his heart. Chen Wang roared in rage, the blood and bones in his body all transformed into lava. A gigantic wave of flames erupted at the entrance of the cave, causing it to tremble violently. Chen Wang's body was forcefully flung out of the cave. His right arm trembled as drops of blood flowed out from it, as though they were about to drip down. A surge of scorching flames gushed forth, evaporating the blood. Chen Wang steadied his palm as his countenance turned ashen. In the battle against Qin Jing, he couldn't do anything to him. But now, he actually suffered a loss in the hands of Qin Wentian. But how could Qin Wentian unleash such a terrifying attack? A beam of great solar light slashed down. Chen Wang wanted to destroy the cave dwelling, but he discovered that although the cave was trembling, it didn't show any signs of collapsing. Chen Wang's countenance stiffened as he walked to the entrance of the cave. A terrifying wave of scorching flames gushed into the cave, engulfing it completely. He stood outside as he coldly stated, "So you can only hide inside like a turtle?" Chen Wang, when you fought for the heavenly fate rankings, I was still at the low level of Yuanfu. Now that you can't do anything to me, you still dare to spout such arrogant words. A cold laughter rang out, containing a hint of mockery in it. If you have the guts, come on in. Chen Wang's countenance was as cold as ice as he heard the sounds of explosions echoing out from within the cave. Chapter 364. The cave that Qin Wentian was in was dimly lit, and the walls of the cave were incomparably sturdy. Qin Wentian had to expend a great deal of energy to inscribe the divine inscriptions. Earlier, at the instant he stepped into the cave, Qin Wentian had already congregated all the energy in his body. His bloodline limit, divine energy, piercing heart bell, and heaven-breaking finger all blasted out at the same time, causing Chen Wang to suffer a disadvantage. Not only that, Chen Wang didn't dare to step into the cave. Qin Wentian's cultivation base was at the 7th level of Yuanfu. In addition to his fiend transformation art and divine energy, his cultivation base was comparable to those at the pinnacle of Yuanfu. Not only that, he had also comprehended a mandate and innate techniques. Against those at the pinnacle of Yuanfu, as long as they hadn't comprehended a 2nd-level mandate, it wouldn't be difficult for him to kill them. But Chen Wang was different. His cultivation base was already at the pinnacle of Yuanfu. Not only that, he also cultivated the Great Solar Universe art and had the Great Solar Bloodline. In addition to the fact that his 2nd-level mandate was already at the advanced boundary, he could even fight against those who had just stepped into Heavenly Dipper. His cultivation base couldn't be measured by Yuanfu. When fighting against him, Qin Wentian's cultivation base was too low, he had no advantage at all. At this moment, the flames unceasingly gushed into the cave. However, Qin Wentian's feet glowed with a brilliant light as an ancient shield appeared in front of him, blocking the corrosive flames. Abruptly, a sharp sword pierced through the shield, shattering it into pieces. Qin Wentian's countenance was ice-cold as he blasted out a palm strike, shattering the great solar sword. His hands didn't stop moving as he continued inscribing divine inscriptions. Chen Wang, you think too highly of yourself. I'm only at the 7th level of Yuanfu, yet you can't do anything to me. What if one day I break through to the 8th level? And what if I break through to the 9th level? How will you fight against me then? Qin Wentian coldly spoke. At that time, I can easily kill a heaven's chosen of the great solar Qin clan. Let me ask you, are you not ashamed to call yourself a heaven's chosen? Chen Wang stood outside the cave with a frown on his face. His eyes flashed with a cold light as he stared into the cave. He could sense that Qin Wentian was inscribing divine inscriptions. That mocking voice was definitely Qin Wentian intentionally trying to provoke him into entering the cave. At this moment, Chen Wang stopped his attacks and closed his eyes. He knew that everything that happened in here could be seen clearly by those outside. He had failed in his pursuit of Qin Wentian, and most probably, countless people were watching. Those from the great solar Qin clan, as well as those from the 36 transcendent powers, were all staring at him. Hua Taishu's name had long been spread throughout Grand Xiao. As for Chen Wang, the people of the world would only remember him as the number 1, not the number 2. Just like what Qin Wentian had said, if he couldn't even deal with someone at the 7th level of Yuanfu, how could he, Chen Wang, be the chosen of Grand Xiao? The king of Chen was extremely determined. Since you want to die so much, I'll fulfill your wish. Chen Wang took a step forward. His body turned into a flaming giant in the magma, and his meridians and bones seemed to have turned into a demonic fiery red color. His eyes shone with the light of the great sun as the great solar universe energy erupted forth. The bloodline of the great solar bloodline circulated within his body, incomparably resplendent, causing the spectators outside to be stunned. Chen Wang was still Chen Wang after all. He was the one with the highest chance of obtaining the top position in the heavenly fate rankings. He stepped out and entered the cave. The spectators outside couldn't see what was going on inside, they didn't know what was inside. Why was Chen Wang so cautious? The flames on Chen Wang's body lit up the cave, and when he saw Qin Wentian inside, a terrifying heat instantly rose up within the cave. Scorch marks appeared on the surface of the ground, as though the earth itself was being scorched. I will kill you first, then devour your ancient luck. Chen Wang's voice was cold, incomparably domineering. Qin Wentian only felt a terrifying heat radiating from his body, as though his entire being was about to combust. Only to see Chen Wang placing one of his palms on the stone walls of the cavern. Instantly, a surge of heat radiated outwards, causing the entire cavern to turn red. Chen Wang wanted to make Qin Wentian regret his actions. Do you feel despair? Chen Wang placed his palms on the stone walls as he advanced forward step by step. Qin Wentian coldly stared at him. The infuriated Chen Wang was even more terrifying than before. The current Chen Wang was truly one of the strongest contenders for the top position in the heavenly fate rankings. Die! Qin Wentian's voice was ice cold. A terrifying storm of sword qi gushed forth, engulfing the entire cave in an instant. That storm of sword qi swept towards Chen Wang, sealing off all possible escape routes. So this is how you want to deal with me? Chen Wang dashed forwards, not retreating, but advancing instead. With a flick of his palm, the great solar sword slashed apart everything as it slashed towards Qin Wentian. Go! Qin Wentian pointed his finger as a terrifying vortex of sword qi gushed forth, wanting to devour Chen Wang's body. Qi, qi. An ear-piercing whistling sound rang out. Qin Wentian only saw the tempest of swords revolving madly, emitting a piercing sound. Two flaming palms materialized and abruptly pulled at the sides. The sword qi whirlpool vanished as Chen Wang, who had transformed into a flaming man, appeared. Above his head floated the flaming giant astral soul from the fifth heavenly layer. Qin Wentian waved his palms as countless sharp swords slashed out. Chen Wang wanted to fuse as one with his astral soul, becoming the flame giant astral soul. This is already the power of an astral nova. Chen Wang is already preparing to step into the heavenly dipper realm. In fact, he might already be a half-step heavenly dipper sovereign. Qin Wentian stared at Chen Wang as an even stronger storm of sword qi gushed forth. Chen Wang stomped the ground, grabbing out with his palms towards Qin Wentian. If that flaming palm landed on Qin Wentian, it was sufficient to incinerate Qin Wentian into nothingness. Chen Wang's attack power had already stepped into the heavenly dipper sovereign realm. Even the fourth-ranked storm of sword qi Qin Wentian couldn't kill Chen Wang. Despair. Chen Wang blasted out with his palms, dissipating the sword qi. He was like a divinity as he walked towards Qin Wentian. In the center of Qin Wentian's brows, a third eye abruptly opened. In an instant, a resplendent light flashed as a terrifying will gushed into Chen Wang's sea of consciousness. At the same time, Qin Wentian frenziedly blasted out with both his palms, summoning a gigantic ancient bell. Boom, boom, boom. The chimes of the bells rang out unceasingly, echoing throughout the entire cavern. Chen Wang's head swelled with pain as his heart pounded madly, as though it was about to explode. Yet, his palms still continued to blast towards Qin Wentian. Cover. With an intention of his will, Qin Wentian's entire body was enveloped by towering sword qi, burying him within. Only his eyes remained exposed, and they were as cold as ever. He dashed out, no longer holding back on his divine energy. The chimes of the bells continued, the heaven-breaking finger, capable of breaking the heavens with a single finger. Qin Wentian's palms weren't only covered in demon armor, there were also swords as well. Boundless sword qi gathered in the air, converging towards the tip of his finger. With this finger, the swords all turned blood-colored. Countless blood-colored swords converged into a vortex, gushing towards Chen Wang. Qin Wentian's finger pressed downwards. A destructive tempest manifested, wanting to destroy the entire cavern. Cracks appeared on Chen Wang's flaming body as the slaughter divine inscriptions once again gushed towards him. With a howl of rage, Chen Wang dashed out of the cavern, while Qin Wentian's body slammed heavily into the stone walls of the cavern. The bones in his entire body felt as though they were about to shatter. The swords and demon armor on his body were all shattered, and the Yuan energy within his demon sovereign Yuanfu and heavenly hammer Yuanfu was completely depleted. His last Yuanfu only had half of its astral energy left, and was no longer able to support him in battle. Coughing out a mouthful of fresh blood, Qin Wentian sat there, feeling as though his entire body was about to shatter. He was in excruciating pain, yet his eyes remained fixed on the outside, incomparably cold. Chen Wang, who had rushed out of the cavern, returned to his original state. He was no longer in the form of a flaming body, and was clad in a robe. However, this robe of his was instantly dyed red with fresh blood. The spectators outside were all stunned by the scene before them. Chen Wang had entered the cavern, and after exiting, he was actually so heavily injured. What exactly happened in the cavern? The smiles on the faces of those from the great Solar Chen clan vanished. Chen Wang was in such a miserable state. How could this be? Qin Wentian, he's a fourth-ranked divine inscriptionist. Luo he indifferently stated, her words causing the countenances of those from the great Solar Chen clan to stiffen. That arrogant 7th-level Yuanfu cultivator was actually a fourth-ranked divine inscriptionist. No wonder Chen Wang suffered such a huge disadvantage. The spectators only saw Chen Wang's rage towering to the heavens. He soared up into the air as he howled in rage. Outside the cavern, a voice resounded throughout the heavens and earth. Qin Wentian, if you don't die, how can I rest in peace? I, Chen Wang, am willing to protect all of you from danger. As long as there's someone who is willing to protect this cavern for me, Qin Wentian shall kill that person. Chen Wang's voice reverberated through the air, spreading out in all directions. Not long after, someone actually appeared. This person was none other than the 18th ranker on the Heavenly Fate ranking, Yang Fan from the Star-Seizing Manor. He had always wanted to kill Qin Wentian, and when he heard Chen Wang's words, he immediately rushed over. Yang Fan stared at Chen Wang in the air. Chen Wang actually suffered such a huge disadvantage at the hands of Qin Wentian, no wonder he was enraged. Qin Wentian is proficient in divine inscriptions, I need to force him out. Now that he's injured, the moment he comes out, he'll die. Chen Wang stared at Yang Fan as he spoke, you guard this place for me, I'll go look for his friends. Yang Fan knew that Chen Wang was truly enraged when he saw the flames of rage burning around him. He couldn't help but to nod his head as he replied, I'll guard this place. I'll continue to summon more people here. Even if I can't obtain first place in this round, I want him to die. Chen Wang's voice was cold to the extreme. Stepping out, his silhouette vanished in an instant. The words of Chen Wang were heard by Qin Wentian. His countenance flickered with a cold light. He, Ouyang Guangsheng, Chu Mang, Fan Lu and the rest all came to participate in the ranking battle. Everyone knew that Chen Wang wanted to use them to force him out of the cavern. Qin Wentian leaned against the stone wall. Beside him were many Yuan meteor stones, which he used to replenish his astral energy. At this moment, with an intention of his will, a medicinal pellet appeared in his hands as a cold light flickered in his eyes. Chapter 365. In the blink of an eye, 7 days passed. Outside of the Vermilion Bird Formation, countless gazes were still focused on the formation, not knowing day or night, not knowing exhaustion. 7 days had passed since the battle between Qin Wentian and Chen Wang. Right now, the strength of the contenders for the Heavenly Fate rankings was becoming clearer and clearer. There were many who were already ranked on the Heavenly Fate rankings, as well as a few dark horses. Similarly, there were many who were destined to be surpassed. Even if they were ranked very high on the Heavenly Fate rankings, cultivation was like walking against the wind. If you stagnated in the midst of the storm, others would instantly surpass you, or even leave you in the dust. The Heavenly Fate rankings were no exception. This was also the reason why the top rankers on the Heavenly Fate rankings were all youths. Because for those who were older, they had already been stuck at Yuanfu for a very long time. Why would they be stuck there for such a long time? Other than the lack of resources, it was also because their comprehension of mandates couldn't reach the second level. If that was the case, they were destined to be surpassed by the later generations. Although it was cruel, this was the natural law of the cultivation world. Currently, the 4 most favored contenders were Chen Wang, Sherpatian, Si Qiong and Zhan Chen. Si Qiong was exceedingly powerful, and Zhan Chen gave off a demonic aura. These four should be the strongest contenders for the top 3 positions. Other than them, there were also a few more favored contenders: Qin Zheng, Emperor Azure, Ao Jun, Hua Shaoqing, Yan Cheng, Leng Hong, Wang Ju and Yun Mengyi. There were also a few more that were mysterious and unfathomable. For example, the black-robed figure, Mu Feng, Qin Wentian and Mo Qingcheng. The black-robed figure and Mu Feng both kept a low profile and rarely provoked others. As long as no one provoked them, they wouldn't even fight for the ancient luck of the vermilion bird. But if someone dared to make a move against them, they wouldn't hesitate to defeat them. Especially for Mu Feng. It was rumored that after experiencing an unforeseen event, his temperament had changed as well. He became cold and ruthless, and those who dared to cause trouble for him all died in his hands. His temperament had become even more suited to the use of poison. As for why no one was able to see through Qin Wentian, it was because in the battle 7 days ago, he actually managed to survive Chen Wang's attack. What was even more shocking was that not only did he survive, he even caused Chen Wang's entire body to be dyed red with blood, causing him to enter a berserk state. With regards to Mo Qingcheng, it was extremely rare for her to act. What was even more interesting was that those who met her didn't even try to snatch her ancient luck. Her charm was still as great as ever. Even in this world of cold, no one dared to make a move against her. Such a beauty, it was truly difficult to do anything to her. Hence, Mo Qingcheng's true strength was still a mystery even now. Everyone only knew that as the disciple of Luo He, her alchemy abilities were extremely terrifying, and her talent was exceedingly high. Not only that, for those who weren't that strong, they started to gather together. In order to prevent their ancient luck from being snatched away by the more powerful characters, they temporarily formed an alliance. As time flowed by, the number of such alliances gradually increased. This way, even if they met an extremely powerful character, they wouldn't be stripped of their qualifications to stay behind. Hence, a strange phenomenon occurred. The ancient luck of those who stood at the peak of the vermilion bird formation grew more and more. For those who were blasted out, the vast majority of their ancient luck would eventually be absorbed by them. The number of people is getting lesser and lesser, there's only about 500 left. The spectators mused as they stared at the vermilion bird formation. This Chen Wang is plundering the ancient luck, and at the same time, he's also searching for someone. Yang Fan, Situ Pe and Hua Feng are actually all waiting outside the cave dwelling, outside of Qin Wentian's cave dwelling. Many people stared in bewilderment at a certain location within the formation. Yang Fan, Situ Pe and Hua Feng could all be considered extremely powerful characters. Could it be that they had a grudge against Qin Wentian? However, since Qin Wentian didn't come out, they didn't dare to enter the cave dwelling to deal with Qin Wentian. This Qin Wentian is so powerful, he actually made so many people wait for him outside. In the direction of the mystic maiden palace, the young and beautiful Xian Xin mumbled in a low voice. She was evidently pleasantly surprised. Qin Wentian's friends weren't bad, especially this Qin Wentian. After offending the Chen Wang, wouldn't he still have to die? Now that he's hiding inside, the only path left for him is death. After Li Shiyu's ancient luck was plundered, she witnessed what happened next. The middle-aged man who had blasted her out actually had his ancient luck plundered by Qin Wentian, and was blasted out just like her. Given Qin Wentian's strength, if he had wanted to, he would have been able to save her. Senior sister, you can't say that. What cultivation level is Qin Wentian at? When he first entered the unmatched realm, you should know that. Now, he's already strong enough to injure the Chen Wang. Even if he's hiding in the cave dwelling, and the Chen Wang and the others didn't dare to enter, it's all because of their incompetence. There's nothing shameful about Qin Wentian. Xian Xin softly added, Senior sister, you can't bear a grudge just because Qin Wentian didn't act to help you. Senior sister's strength isn't stable yet, that's why she was defeated and had her ancient luck stolen. Li Shiyu was somewhat unhappy that Xian Xian had hit the nail on the head. She coldly snorted, "I'm just speaking the truth. Why don't you take a look at your precious fatty? He's still hiding there." Xian Xian found Fan Li's silhouette, as she casually laughed. "It's already very difficult for him to reach this step with his cultivation base at the 7th level of Yuanfu. Now that he's focusing on his own cultivation, there's nothing wrong with that. This is called intelligence." No matter what the people in the outside world thought, the people in the Vermilion Bird Formation all guarded their hearts and acted according to their own thoughts. Qin Wentian continued cultivating in the cave dwelling, and no one dared to enter. "Qin Wentian, didn't you want to have a real battle with me? Now that I'm here, if you accept my challenge, I will definitely kill you." A voice drifted into the cave dwelling. It was Situ Po's voice. Situ Po naturally knew that it was impossible for him to provoke Qin Wentian into coming out of the cave. However, his voice could disrupt Qin Wentian's cultivation. At the very least, he wouldn't let Qin Wentian have an easy time. "Chen Wang sure is slow," Hua Feng impatiently commented as he stared at the cave dwelling. Chen Wang still hadn't found Chu Mang and Fan Lu. It wasn't a good idea to continue wasting time like this. Luckily, Hua Feng knew his own limits. He knew that it was impossible for him to seize too much ancient luck, and if he did, he would only attract the attention of Chen Wang and the others. "Chen Wang has already spread the news everywhere. I'm afraid those within the formation all know that he's searching for Qin Wentian. There's no need to be anxious, it's only a matter of time." Yang Fan was extremely calm. Although he had broken up with Shu Ruanyu, he still felt extremely unhappy in his heart. Shu Ruanyu wasn't bad, she was beautiful, talented, and had an extraordinary background. He had already made preparations to marry her, but who would have thought that his woman would be abducted by Qin Wentian? In the Moon Continent, the impact on Yang Fan's reputation would be extremely great. Yang Fan's fiancée, the beautiful and sexy Shu Ruanyu, was actually abducted by Qin Wentian. What would the people of the Moon Continent think? This was also the reason why Yang Fan broke up with Shu Ruanyu. Hence, leaving aside the grudges between them, Yang Fan had to kill Qin Wentian no matter what. "Qin Wentian, you were incomparably arrogant in front of the heavenly steel steps. But now, you're like a turtle hiding in a cave, acting like a livestock. Don't you think you're pathetic?" Situ Po coldly continued, "Not only that, your cowardice might lead to the death of your friend. Chen Wang, if he manages to capture your friend, he will definitely not let you off." Infuriate, Situ Po wanted to infuriate Qin Wentian. Hence, he unceasingly used vulgar words to provoke Qin Wentian. However, Qin Wentian still ignored him. He was currently at a critical juncture in his cultivation. Hua Feng stepped forward, arriving at the side of the cave. His gaze was fixated on the interior of the cave as he coldly laughed. "Qin Wentian, tell me, if Chen Wang knew of the relationship between you and Mo Qingqing, do you think he would do something to her?" Mo Qingqing was someone from the Pill Emperor Hall, a heaven's chosen, as well as the beloved disciple of Luo He. Even if Chen Wang knew of the relationship between Mo Qingqing and Qin Wentian, he wouldn't vent his anger on Mo Qingqing. Qin Wentian understood this point, and so did Hua Feng. However, his words were only meant to infuriate Qin Wentian. Situ Po's countenance stiffened. What relationship did Qin Wentian and Mo Qingqing have? Only those from the Hua clan knew of the relationship between them. After all, Hua Xiaoyun had died in the hands of Qin Wentian because of this. Hua Taishu had already broken through to the 2nd level of Heavenly Dipper, and his status in the Hua clan continued to rise. Hence, those from the Hua clan gave Hua Feng an order to eliminate Qin Wentian during the ranking battle for the Heavenly Fate rankings. Hua Xiaoqing, on the other hand, wanted to ascend to the top ranks of the Heavenly Fate rankings. This made Hua Feng extremely unhappy. Why did he have to run errands for Hua Taishu? Not only that, it was him, not Hua Xiaoqing. Hence, he wanted to vent his unhappiness on Qin Wentian, and even more so, he wanted Qin Wentian to die. Qin Wentian, Mo Qingcheng, is such a peerless beauty. If she were to be humiliated by someone, what would the scene be like? Hua Feng suppressed his voice to an extremely low level, transmitting his words into the cavern so that only Qin Wentian could hear him. He didn't believe that Qin Wentian would be able to endure this for too long. Abruptly, a terrifying demonic qi gushed forth, bringing with it an ice-cold killing intent. Hua Feng retreated in order to avoid being ambushed, yet a cold smile could be seen in his eyes. He knew that he had achieved his goal. Qin Wentian was enraged. As long as Qin Wentian was enraged and knew his weakness, things would be much easier. He didn't believe that Qin Wentian wouldn't reveal himself. Within the cave, Qin Wentian's body was enveloped by a terrifying demonic qi. Demons were violent, bloodthirsty, tyrannical in strength, and incomparably exuberant in vitality. The first level of the mandate of demons was demonification, causing one to be closer to a demon, becoming more violent, possessing more strength, and having a more fearsome physique. In that case, what would the second level of the mandate of demons contain? Qin Wentian's rage told him that the mandate of demons was different from other mandates. Because it was the mandate of demons. The second level of the mandate of demons was demonification. Qin Wentian's physique was expanding as his bones transformed. Terrifying cracking sounds echoed from his body, and his eyes gave off a terrifying demonic aura. Qin Wentian's third eye opened, as a demonic light flashed past. It was as though a primordial greater demon was staring down at the myriad of living beings. As for the aura radiating from Qin Wentian, it was already at the 8th level of Yuanfu. His eyes abruptly opened, and within the cave, 3 beams of light could be seen, capable of shaking the souls of those who saw it. Chapter 366. Within the Vermilion Bird Formation, Qin Wentian encountered Chen Wang, and the two of them engaged in a fierce battle. After Chen Wang was ambushed, he wanted to capture Qin Wentian's good friend to threaten Qin Wentian out of the cave. As for the actions of Qin Wentian's good friend, Fan Li's goal was very clear. He wanted to break through to the 8th level of Yuanfu. He didn't care what others thought of him. So what if everyone thought he was shameless? With his cultivation base at the peak of the 7th level of Yuanfu, even if he had a mandate at the perfection boundary, it would still be useless. He could only break through to the next level first. Hence, Fan Lu continued to cultivate under the rocks by the shore. His body was covered in flames, causing a surge of heat to gush out from his body. However, waves after waves of gigantic waves slammed into him, wanting to extinguish the flames on his body. However, the flames didn't extinguish. The water on his body evaporated in an instant, and the cycle repeated itself once more. Before this, Ouyang Guangsheng's cultivation base was already higher than Fan Lu and Qin Wentian. Hence, he was the first to break through to the 9th level of Yuanfu. After consuming the limit break pellet, he stepped into the 9th level of Yuanfu and was currently searching for opponents to fight against. The opponents he faced were all exceedingly strong, and because up till now, those who remained in the Vermilion Bird Formation were all extremely powerful. But this only made Ouyang Guangsheng excited. He didn't care if he had any results in the Heavenly Fate rankings or not. He only needed to constantly surpass his limits and grow stronger. Even if he had no fate with the ranking battle this time around, it wouldn't affect him from challenging others in the future, knocking them out of the Heavenly Fate rankings. Right now, many rankers on the Heavenly Fate rankings were doing the same. As for Chu Mang, his heart was even more resolute compared to Fan Lu and Ouyang Guangsheng. On the peak of a certain mountain, a gigantic axe was stabbed into the ground. Chu Mang stood there in cultivation, brandishing the astral great axe in his hands again and again. Sometimes he would change his movements, sometimes he would repeat the same action 10 times, 100 times. It was as though he didn't know fatigue, and his axe seemed to glow with a brilliant light. What Chu Mang loved the most were the axes and arrows. Arrows could kill enemies from afar, while axes could cleave mountains and split seas. He gave up on cultivating his third mandate and focused solely on these two mandates. In the unmatched realm, after he was accepted as a disciple by the barbarian king had intentionally discussed this issue with him. Chu Mang's heart was extremely resolute, and in the end, the barbarian king was extremely supportive of him. Other than strengthening Chu Mang's strength, the barbarian king also allowed Chu Mang to continue walking on his own path. The barbarian king had many cultivation methods, but he didn't teach them to Chu Mang. He told Chu Mang that he was right, as long as you follow your heart, you would be able to continue walking on this path. Even if his cultivation only consisted of one movement, he would be able to break through his limits and reach an unimaginable level. Back then, this was what Chu Wuwei had taught him. Now, he continued to walk down this path with incomparable determination. Chu Mang's axe once again arced through the air. Instantly, a beam of light cascaded downwards from a mountain peak far away. Chu Mang acted as though he didn't see it, as he casually swung his axe once more. This time around, another beam of light could be seen. When Chu Mang retracted his axe, the sound of cracking sounds rang out unceasingly. After which, the ancient mountain peak ahead was actually split apart, leaving behind several terrifying traces of axe marks. Awesome! Chu Mang grinned. After which, he turned his gaze over in a certain direction, only to see two silhouettes currently engaged in combat. A male and a female. These two were none other than Xian Yan from the Mystic Maiden Palace and Yao Jun from the Sky Demon Sect. Xian Yan was ranked number 17 on the Heavenly Fate rankings, while Yao Jun was ranked number 13. This time around, Yao Jun had once again erupted with power. He had comprehended a second-level mandate and was extremely terrifying. This time around, Yao Jun was highly regarded by the spectators. His performance was extremely dazzling. Chu Mang hesitated for a moment before stepping out. This Xian Yan was Xian Xian's senior apprentice sister, while Xian Xian was Fan Li's girlfriend. In addition, Chu Mang's impression of Xian Yan wasn't bad, so it wasn't a big deal for him to help her out. Maybe by doing so, Xian Yan would acknowledge Chu Mang more in the future. At the same time, Chu Mang also wanted to test out his own strength. Xian Yan was completely suppressed. Yao Jun's vermilion bird ancient luck shone brightly as a pair of demonic wings sprouted from his back. Every attack of his was incomparably tyrannical. As though he sensed something, Yao Jun turned his gaze over, only to see Chu Mang's silhouette. His demonic eyes glanced at the shadow of the vermilion bird behind Chu Mang as a demonic light flickered in his eyes. Someone's delivering ancient luck again. Yao Jun coldly spoke. After which, he saw Chu Mang rushing over as an astral great axe cleaved down towards him. "There's no need for your help, you aren't his opponent," Xian Yan shouted. If she failed, there was nothing she could say. There was no need for Chu Mang to make a pointless sacrifice. The demon lord raised his hand and blasted out. A terrifying beast roared as it charged through the void. Pucci, that axe seemed extremely ordinary, yet it was as though there was light within it. With a single slash, it cleaved apart the roaring gigantic beast, heading straight for Yao Jun. Yao Jun's countenance abruptly changed as a sharp glint of light flickered in his eyes. His wings flapped rapidly as a golden beam of light blasted down from where he was just a moment ago, causing a terrifying fissure of over 100 meters in length to appear on the ground. Second level. Yao Jun's eyes were extremely sharp, he could tell with a single glance that this was the might of a second-level mandate. Inclining his head, he stared at Chu Mang as the demonic light in his eyes grew even more intense. This time around, the participants of the Heavenly Fate rankings were much stronger than before. Although he hadn't participated in the previous Heavenly Fate rankings, he had seen it before. Although the participants were extremely powerful, the intensity of the Heavenly Fate rankings definitely couldn't be compared to this one. Back then, after seeing the Heavenly Fate rankings, he had put in a lot of effort, fighting his way up the rankings. This time around, he was prepared to display his magnificence, yet he didn't expect that there would be so many strong competitors here. Xian Yan also had an expression of astonishment on her face as she cast a deep glance at Chu Meng. Her heart was filled with a sense of desolation. Courting death. The demonic qi radiating from Yao Jun was terrifying as he advanced towards Chu Meng. The two of them clashed madly against each other. Yao Jun's demonic arts were extremely powerful, allowing him to unleash all sorts of powerful demonic beasts. When he transformed into his demon form, his strength was incomparably tyrannical, causing his combat prowess to rise unceasingly. However, Xian Yan discovered that no matter how strong Yao Jun became, Chu Meng was still unhurried as he chopped down with his axe. That feeling was too carefree, it was as though he was chopping firewood. Chu Meng treated this battle as though he was chopping firewood. Every strike of his axe was precise and skillful, giving off a feeling of impenetrability. Occasionally, he would grab an opportunity and slash out with his axe, shocking his opponent. The speed of his axe was too fast, and if it struck its target, it would definitely be a sure kill. At the end of the battle, Yao Jun didn't even want to be in a stalemate with Chu Meng. He wanted to break through Xian Yan's defenses and steal her ancient luck, yet Chu Meng still stood unhurriedly in front of Xian Yan, like a guardian deity. Nobody could shake him. Xian Yan stared at the broad back view of Chu Meng in a daze. She didn't expect that she would actually need someone to protect her. Finally, Yao Jun's attacks couldn't break through Chu Meng's defenses. With a howl of rage, he soared up into the skies and left, giving up on the idea of seizing the ancient luck. Chu Meng stood in the air with his great axe in his hands, as he turned his head to look at Xian Yan. "Thank you." Xian Yan looked at Chu Meng as she spoke in a low voice. "No need, I'm doing this to help Fan Lu. Your Mystic Maiden Palace shouldn't make things difficult for him in the future. Us brothers won't let your Mystic Maiden Palace lose face." Chu Meng spoke to Xian Yan. If it was in the past, Xian Yan might have looked down on Qin Wentian, Chu Meng and Fan Lu. But after the journey on the heavenly steel steps, her attitude gradually changed. At this moment, Xian Yan didn't know what to feel in her heart. Emicham. At this moment, Chu Meng and Xian Yan turned their gazes to the horizon, only to see two silhouettes walking over. One of them was Yao Jun, and as for the other, his aura was even more violent and tyrannical. It was none other than Chen Wang. In front of him, even the powerful Yao Jun had to submit to him and follow by his side. Chen Wang's eyes instantly locked onto Chu Meng, as a terrifying inferno erupted from his body. His bones and blood vessels once again transformed into a sea of lava as his body solidified, resembling a paragon of fire. How powerful! Xian Yan's beautiful eyes froze as she saw Chen Wang rushing towards Chu Meng. "Leave quickly!" Xian Yan roared in a low voice. Chu Meng's eyes were fixed on Chen Wang as his battle intent blazed. Stepping out, he slashed out with his great axe. Chen Wang was filled with rage, his aura towering to the heavens. He had once humiliated Qin Wentian, how could there be a second time? So what if Qin Wentian had second-level mandates? He was Chen Wang, and his second-level mandates were already at the transformation boundary. If it wasn't for Qin Wentian's sneak attack, how could he have ended up in such a miserable state? His palms blasted out as the great solar universe energy erupted forth. His fiery palms grabbed towards the great axe. Pang! The light from the great axe slammed into the universe palm imprint, causing terrifying flames to splatter in all directions. Chen Wang's countenance stiffened as he felt an intense pain in his palms. Gotcha! With a clench of his fist, the great axe began to burn. Chu Meng's arm was also solidified, about to transform into lava. Chu Meng instantly let go of the axe as he retreated with explosive speed. However, how could Chen Wang give him a chance? A beam of light slashed out, causing Chu Mang to howl in agony as fresh blood splattered from his chest. Direction, I don't want your ancient luck. Chen Wang coldly snorted as he blasted out with his palms. With a thunderous boom, Chu Mang's blood gushed out as the flaming palm imprint slammed into his chest. His body was directly slammed into the ground as a fiery palm imprint appeared on his chest. Chu Mang. Xian Yan's countenance was incredibly unsightly to behold. She ran to Chu Mang's side only to see Chen Wang floating in the air, staring down at Chu Mang as he coldly stated, "Your friend Qin Wentian has angered me and is currently hiding, not daring to meet me. Does he think he can escape just like that? He will pay the price for his actions. Even if I want your ancient luck, I will kill you first." Chu Mang's countenance was ice cold. He stood up as the great axe appeared in his hand once more as he unleashed his astral souls. He would rather fight to the death than die in humiliation. A raging wind gusted as Chu Mang dashed towards Chen Wang. He slashed out with his great axe once more as a resplendent beam of axe light appeared in the air, capable of destroying everything in its path. Is there any use? Chen Wang roared in rage as his palms blasted out in the air. Over there, the great solar universe palm imprint appeared, blocking the incoming axe light. His silhouette advanced as he blasted out another terrifying palm strike onto Chu Mang's body, slamming him into the ground once more. Chen Wang's strength was unfathomable. The spectators sighed in their hearts when they saw this scene. Chen Wang was indeed Chen Wang, unstoppable. However, they had no idea how Qin Wentian managed to injure Chu Mang. Qin Wentian had also paid a heavy price to injure Chen Wang. Not only that, Chen Wang had underestimated his opponent. At this moment, Chu Mang's aura fluctuated wildly as fresh blood flowed unceasingly from his body. Xian Yan's countenance turned pale as she stared at Chen Wang. Chen Wang's countenance was as cold as ice as he exuded an intense killing intent, walking towards Chu Mang. Chen Wang's target was Qin Wentian. If he captured Chu Mang would definitely die. As she thought of this, Xian Yan's heart hardened. The vermilion bird behind her instantly lunged forth, lunging towards Chu Mang's vermilion bird. What are you doing? Chu Mang glared at Xian Yan. His vermilion bird ancient luck was also weakened, and was instantly devoured by the vermilion bird. Impudent! Chen Wang roared in rage, only to see Chu Mang's silhouette vanishing from his original location. Xian Yan turned her head, calmly looking at Chen Wang. She didn't regret her decision. Chapter 367. Chen Wang felt a sense of foreboding when he saw Xian Yan devouring Chu Mang's vermilion bird ancient luck. But it was already too late to stop her. He glared at Xian Yan and struck out with his palm, causing a deafening explosion to ring out. Xian Yan's body was flung through the air, stained with blood. Her clothes were tattered, revealing her snow-white skin. Are you courting death? Chen Wang's voice was ice-cold. He never thought that Xian Yan would dare to obstruct him. Chen Wang, there's no Huataishu in this batch. No matter what, you're still the one with the highest ranking on the heavenly fate rankings. Don't you think it's beneath your status to use such a method to threaten Qin Wentian? Xian Yan coldly stated, staring at Chen Wang. If I want to kill him, I don't care what methods I use. In the ranking battle for the heavenly fate rankings, no matter who interferes, he will die without a doubt. Chen Wang's voice was filled with coldness, incomparably decisive. He had already suffered a disadvantage in the hands of Qin Wentian twice, how could he give up so easily? Qin Wentian had hidden himself in the cave to inscribe fourth-rank divine inscriptions. It was unwise of him to enter the cave, and hence, he wanted to capture Chu Mang or Fan Lu. To him, this was just a trick. Since you dare to stop me, you will have to pay the price. Chen Wang's voice was ice-cold. After which, he turned to Yao Jun, her ancient luck belongs to you, but you have to do something for me. In the future, if we meet again, I won't make things difficult for you. Yao Jun looked at Chen Wang with a strange look in his eyes. All right. Yao Jun nodded and agreed to Chen Wang's request. Chen Wang told him the location of Qin Wentian. After which, he soared into the skies, departing once more. He still needed to find Fan Lu or Ouyang Guangsheng. Qin Wentian and Xian Yan weren't familiar with each other, and Chen Wang wasn't sure if Xian Yan could force Qin Wentian to come out. He left this matter to Yao Jun. He believed that since Yao Jun had agreed, he would not dare to disobey him. Otherwise, if they met again in the future, he would make Yao Jun die a horrible death. This was the prestige brought about by great power. Even the powerful Yao Lord had to work for him. Of course, Yao Jun had his own reasons for agreeing to King Chen's request. After Chen Wang left, Yao Jun's gaze swept past Xian Yan. He stared at her alluring skin as he slowly walked towards her. A cold intent gushed forth from Xian Yan, yet she only saw the demon lord coldly speaking, "The women of the mystic maiden palace are as pure as ice and as pure as jade. They are suitable for members of my sky demon sect. If you dare to resist, I don't mind teaching you a lesson." You. Xian Yan's face paled as she pointed at Yao Jun. Yao Jun's expression grew colder and colder. "If you obediently cooperate, I won't touch you." After speaking, he walked to the side of Xian Yan. Xian Yan's body trembled slightly, Yao Jun's palm imprint directly slammed into her body. After which, he embraced her and soared into the skies, leaving this place. From of Yen of. Xian Yan, a genius of the mystic maiden palace, was actually humiliated in such a manner. This lass is too willful. The female beside Xian Xian was extremely unhappy with Xian Yan. Xian Yan had actually sacrificed herself for Chu Mang. Senior sister Xian Yan is too reckless. Doesn't she know that she represents the dignity of the mystic maiden palace? Li Shiyu added. It's big bro Chu Mang who helped senior sister Xian Yan. What senior sister Xian Yan did is the way to show her gratitude. What's wrong with that? Xian Xian tried to defend Xian Yan, only to hear the voice of the female cultivator in front of her, "Shut your mouth." Xian Xian's lips twitched, but she didn't say anything. At this moment, Chu Mang was dragged out of the vermilion bird formation by the spatial energy. He stood in the midst of the crowd, and the surrounding people all made way for him. This Chu Mang should have comprehended a second-level mandate, and was able to fight against Yao Jun with just a gigantic axe. He definitely had a chance to rank within the top 15 of the Heavenly Fate rankings, yet he was eliminated by Chen Wang. However, Chu Mang still proved himself. Although he didn't stand on that magnificent stage, the Venerate Heavens sect would definitely give him a good ranking. Chu Mang didn't care about all this. He stared at the scene within the vermilion bird formation as an expression of rage flashed on his face. "Chen Wang, Yao Jun." Chu Mang roared in a low voice. He was filled with unwillingness and agony. Seeing Xian Yan being subdued, he couldn't help but want nothing more than to rush in and fight against Yao Jun again. Qin Wentian was still cultivating in his cave dwelling. Although he was enraged and wanted nothing more than to rush out and kill the 3 people outside, he still endured it. Because of the transformation of his mandate of demons, he could feel his bloodline trembling. It was as though a gigantic primordial demonic beast was trapped within his body, wanting to rush out and roar in rage. However, he felt that he was still being restrained, and yet, Qin Wentian could clearly feel the power of his bloodline growing stronger. When the fiend transformation art and the mandate of demons erupted together, the energy stored within his bloodline was even more powerful, gushing into every part of his body. Still lacking a little more. Qin Wentian could feel that the shackles on his bloodline had been removed. However, there seemed to be a formless energy that caused his bloodline to be unable to unleash its full potential. There was always an obstruction, and he had no way to break through it. Maybe, he was still lacking a single breath, but as he grew stronger, success would naturally follow. Yang Fan, Hua Feng and Situ Po were still waiting outside, growing impatient. This Qin Wentian could really endure, no matter how much they humiliated him, he was still able to endure it. However, this was also because he was smart. With the three of them outside, if Qin Wentian came out, he would definitely die. Naturally, he would hide like a turtle inside the formation. With regards to ancient luck, Yang Fan and the other two didn't have much interest in it. It wasn't realistic for them to obtain too much ancient luck. Now that they had a rough understanding of the strength of the participants, Yang Fan and Situ Po set their sights on the top 10. As long as they could enter the top 10, it would already be considered a very good result. As for Orphan, he didn't have any other thoughts. Right now, he only wanted to kill Qin Wentian to vent the anger and resentment in his heart. Qin Wentian, do you really intend to wait until your friend dies in front of you before you are willing to come out? Hua Feng coldly spoke, as he walked towards the entrance of the cave. The moment the Qin Emperor appears, I will definitely tell him about the relationship between you and Mo Qingqing. Isn't that woman extremely pure and holy? If that's the case, if the Qin Emperor does something outrageous and humiliates her in public, what do you think the spectators would think? Boom! A terrifying demonic qi gushed forth as Hua Feng explosively retreated. His eyes shone with a victorious smile. Every time he spoke of Mo Qingqing, Qin Wentian's state of mind would become unstable, and he wouldn't be able to cultivate in peace. This was a rule he had grasped. Next, he planned to use even more venomous words to humiliate Mo Qingqing. Let's see how long Qin Wentian can endure this. However, at this moment, two silhouettes drifted over from the air. It was none other than Yao Jun and Xian Yan. Looks of bewilderment appeared on the faces of Yang Fan and the other two, only to see Yao Jun sweeping a glance at them as he coldly stated, this woman was captured by the Qin Emperor. His original intention was to bring Chu Mang here, but for the sake of Chu Mang, this woman didn't hesitate to offend the Qin Emperor, swallowing the ancient luck of the vermilion bird, allowing Chu Mang to be saved. The relationship between her and Chu Mang shouldn't be simple, right? So this is the case. Hua Feng glanced at Xian Yan as he laughed. The heavens chosen of the mystic maiden palace, Xian Yan, as pure as ice and as clean as jade. TSK, even your snow-white skin is revealed. How beautiful. Xian Yan, are you in love with Chu Mang? Or are you still a virgin? Hua Feng, you are shameless. Xian Yan couldn't help but to reprimand Hua Feng when she saw the lustful look in his eyes. Shameless? A cold light flickered in Hua Feng's eyes. I'll be even more shameless. This Qin Wentian doesn't even dare to come out no matter what. He even treated those who humiliated his women as his grandsons. I wonder if I can force him to come out if I strip you of your clothes and allow everyone to admire you together. As the sound of Hua Feng's voice faded, a terrifying demonic qi gushed forth from the cavern, akin to a gust of demonic wind that brushed against their bodies, causing them to feel a chill in their hearts. Tap, tap, tap. Light footsteps echoed out from the cavern. Their gazes abruptly shifted over, staring at the cavern. Finally, they couldn't endure it any longer. The smile on Hua Feng's face grew thicker as he coldly stated, seems like sometimes, we still need to use some underhanded methods. Yang Fan, who was sitting there, opened his eyes as he stared at the cavern. Situ Po's eyes flickered with a cold light. The grudge between him and Qin Wentian had to be resolved eventually. Qin Wentian had to die. A silhouette appeared outside the cavern. The crowd only saw that his physique seemed to have changed. He was taller, more demonic, and his eyes were terrifying to the extreme. He stood there, like a monarch of demons. Even among those from the Sky Demon sect, there wasn't anyone who was as demonic as him. Qin Wentian stared at Hua Feng. He appeared extremely calm, but if one understood his inner thoughts, they would understand that this calmness was because his rage had reached the extreme, and he could erupt at any moment. Qin Wentian, I need your cultivation art. If not, I will do as Hua Feng said and strip off the clothes of this woman, piece by piece. Yao Jun stared at Qin Wentian as he coldly stated. There was another reason why he agreed to come here, and that was because he wanted the cultivation art of Qin Wentian. The Sky Demon sect had long received news that Qin Wentian had cultivated an extremely powerful demonic art. This art would definitely be extremely suitable for their Sky Demon sect. Hence, when Yao Jun saw that Qin Wentian was participating in the Heavenly Fate rankings, he hoped that Qin Wentian wouldn't be eliminated so early. Because, he wanted the cultivation art. Qin Wentian swept a glance at Yao Jun. Just a single glance caused Yao Jun to feel his entire body turning cold. After which, Qin Wentian continued staring at Hua Feng as he finally spoke. You seem to have forgotten how Hua Xiaoyun died. You will die even more miserably than him. Qin Wentian stared at Hua Feng as he continued walking forwards, ignoring the others. Hua Feng and the rest were all staring at Qin Wentian. Where did his confidence come from? Hua Feng's aura surged as his astral souls shone with resplendent light. This man had already broken through to the 8th level of Yuanfu. Seems like if Qin Wentian wanted to kill him, he would have to be more careful. Yang Fan and Situpa didn't seem to have any intentions of acting. They were waiting, they wanted to see how strong Qin Wentian was. As for Hua Feng, what did that have to do with them? Abruptly, a resplendent beam of light erupted forth from the center of Qin Wentian's brows. Hua Feng felt an intense pain in his head, as though a gigantic demonic beast had landed on his head. An expression of agony appeared on his face as his entire body was drenched in cold sweat. Pang! Hua Feng howled in rage as he blasted out with his palms. A terrifying amount of energy converged in the air, transforming into a terrifying black-colored palm imprint. Qin Wentian's palm grabbed out, akin to an incomparably gigantic ancient demonic palm imprint. With a thunderous boom, the black-colored palm imprint was destroyed. Hua Feng's countenance paled, howling in rage as he lifted his palms to defend. However, at the instant the ancient demonic palm imprint landed, the roars of countless primordial demonic beasts could be heard. With a thunderous boom, Hua Feng's body was forced to the ground as a terrifying gigantic palm imprint slammed into him. Inclining his head, Hua Feng saw Qin Wentian standing in front of him, staring down at him. A cripple like you, where did you get the guts from? Qin Wentian was like a demon monarch, lowering his head to stare at Hua Feng. With a swipe of his palms, a scream of agony rang out as one of Hua Feng's arms was forcibly torn off. Fresh blood splattered through the air, causing the hearts of the spectators to pound violently. However, they were actually filled with excitement, as though their blood was boiling. Qin Wentian, clad in his platinum battle robes, was he going to erupt with power? This was exactly what they wanted to see. Chapter 368. After the battle with Chen Wang, Qin Wentian had been trapped in the cave, not daring to appear again. Now, the suppressed Hua Feng had finally appeared once again. Not only that, his strength had grown even stronger. He should have broken through to the 8th level of Yuanfu. If not, how could Hua Feng not be able to withstand a single strike from him? After all, Hua Feng was a ranker on the Heavenly Fate rankings. Being able to reach this step meant that he was already at the peak of Yuanfu. But even so, he wasn't able to withstand a single strike. From this, one could see how terrifying Qin Wentian's combat prowess was. With a cultivation base at the 7th level of Yuanfu, he was already able to injure Chen Wang. Now that he had stepped out of the cave, did he want to vent his anger? It was unknown what Hua Feng had said to Qin Wentian, but it actually caused Qin Wentian to be so enraged. One of Hua Feng's arms was ripped off by Qin Wentian. This was clearly torture. Qin Wentian's palms were akin to the arms of a demon. He stared at Hua Feng as Hua Feng turned around and faced him. His feet were planted firmly on the ground as his body leaned forward. At this moment, an intense sense of fear could be seen in his eyes as he stared at Qin Wentian. Yao Jun, Yang Fan, Situ Pe and the rest all felt their hearts trembling. They could clearly feel the flames of rage burning in Qin Wentian's body. "I'm from the Hua clan." Hua Feng stared at Qin Wentian. The him now was actually so pitiful that he could only use the Hua clan to threaten Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian's palms grabbed onto Hua Feng's other arm. The demonic look in his eyes was so cold that it pierced into the bones. "No." Hua Feng madly shook his head. A tearing sound rang out, accompanied by a blood-curdling scream. Hua Feng's other arm was ripped off. His entire body convulsed in pain, and his heart was filled with incomparable despair. "This is the price you have to pay for saying those words." Qin Wentian's palm descended. Under Hua Feng's despairing gaze, Qin Wentian's palm slammed into his face. Hua Feng's head exploded as he died without a complete corpse. Qin Wentian's reverse scale wasn't something that could be touched. Ever since the first time Hua Feng humiliated Mo Qingcheng, Qin Wentian had already treated him as a dead man. It was just that only now did the flames of slaughter erupt forth from his heart. Killed. He actually killed Hua Feng. The hearts of the spectators trembled. Those from the Hua clan all had ashen expressions on their faces. Hua Feng could be considered a genius of their Hua clan, yet he was actually killed without the slightest bit of resistance. Not only that, he was brutally tortured to death. The ancient luck behind Hua Feng was devoured by Qin Wentian's purgatory vermilion bird. Yang Fan, Situ Pe and the rest stared at Qin Wentian as they inched closer to Yao Jun. At this moment, Qin Wentian gave them an intense sense of threat. If they couldn't deal with him alone, they would have to join forces. If not, if they were defeated, the demonic rage of Qin Wentian would be akin to what he did to Hua Feng, killing them all. Yao Jun's countenance also turned heavy. He didn't expect that a cultivator at the 8th level of Yuanfu would be able to give him such immense pressure. At this moment, Qin Wentian's demonic form was extremely terrifying. His life force was even more terrifying than that of a true demonic beast. He had the combat talent of a human, but also the offensive and defensive capabilities of a demonic beast. Such a perfect fusion caused the hearts of the spectators to tremble in fear. Qin Wentian swept a glance at the three of them as an astral soul appeared above his head. A demonic beast astral soul. Dragon head, lion body, snake tail, rock wings, Xuanwu scales, and Kirin claws. Demon sovereign astral soul. Yao Jun from the Sky Demon sect was extremely familiar with demonic beast astral souls. With a single glance, he could tell that this was the number 1 astral soul in the War Beast Index, the Demon Sovereign Astral Soul. Not only did it contain a terrifying amount of demonic energy, it also had the ability to summon. Terrifying astral light shot up into the skies. The vermilion bird formation wouldn't block the astral light, or it would restrict the power of the astral souls of the combatants. The astral light emanating from the Demon Sovereign Astral Soul grew increasingly resplendent, as demonic astral light cascaded downwards. After which, a deafening boom rang out as the earth trembled. Beside Qin Wentian, a terrifying primordial ape appeared. It had a golden body, and its entire body shone with a terrifying golden light. Golden primordial ape, ranked number 3 in the War Beast Index. It possesses boundless strength and unparalleled defense. Yao Jun's countenance grew increasingly unsightly as he stared at the summoned demonic beast. This summoned golden primordial ape exuded an aura at the peak of the 9th level of Yuanfu. And at this moment, a blood-colored light flashed as a terrifying blood-colored demonic beast floated in the air, coldly staring at the crowd. Crimson Blood Thunder Hawk, ranked number 5 in the War Beast Index. Yao Jun's countenance turned ashen. The Crimson Blood Thunder Hawk also had an aura at the peak of the 9th level of Yuanfu. And this wasn't the end. One after another, demonic beasts descended from the skies, a feast for the eyes. Blue-scaled flood dragon. Silver-armored bear king. Silver rock. Around Qin Wentian, 5 terrifying demonic beasts appeared. Instantly, a terrifying demonic qi enveloped the entire space. Yang Fan and Situ Po's hearts started to waver. These 5 demonic beasts were all at the peak of Yuanfu, and the demonic qi they exuded was terrifying to the extreme. How terrifying was this formation? With a sharp screech, the Crimson Blood Thunder Hawk soared through the air with lightning speed, aiming for Situ Po. The Crimson Blood Thunder Hawk excelled in speed and lightning. A blood-colored light flashed, leaving behind only a single beam of blood-colored light. Situ Po released his astral souls, as the astral rock armor appeared around his body. The life extinction sword appeared as he slashed out with no hesitation. Pang! The lightning-fast Crimson Blood Thunder Hawk collided with Situ Po once more, the resulting impact causing Situ Po to be forced backwards. Yet another flash of blood-red light flashed, the silvery rock silhouette could no longer be seen. At the same time, the silvery rock howled in rage as it lunged toward Situ Po. 2 demonic beasts with lightning-fast speed instantly placed Situ Po in a dangerous situation. Boom! A thunderous sound rang out as Situ Po's body was flung through the air. The astral rock armor on his body shattered, and an expression of terror could be seen in his eyes. How could these demonic beasts be so powerful? Not only did they have their own abilities, but they could also summon the will of their master. The golden primal ape moved towards Yang Fan, while the blue-scaled flood dragon and the silver-armored bear king lunged towards Yao Jun. Qin Wentian stood there, watching everything unfold as he used his overwhelming will to control the 5 demonic beasts. Yang Fan's astral souls erupted forth, and the star-seizing palms he unleashed were even more terrifying than before. The will of his second-level mandate finally erupted forth, clashing against the golden primal ape ranked number 3 in the War Beast Index. The star-seizing palms contained boundless might. The golden primal ape howled madly as it slammed out with its golden palms, shattering the star-seizing palms. The terrifying might of the impact caused Yang Fan to be flung through the air. How could he be so powerful? The spectators were all deeply shocked by this scene. Qin Wentian had used his demon sovereign astral soul, which was ranked number 1 in the War Beast Index, to summon astral war beasts. Each and every one of the astral war beasts contained a towering amount of demonic qi. The golden primal ape had directly sent Yang Fan flying. With such combat prowess, how high would Qin Wentian's ranking be? At this moment, no one dared to speculate about the top 100 or the top 36 rankings. They had already determined that Qin Wentian's strength had surpassed the top 10 rankings, and he was now a terrifying existence that could contend for the top 10 rankings. He would stand shoulder to shoulder with those who were favored the most, contending for the most dazzling positions. The one who was the most shocked was undoubtedly Yao Jun. He had once wanted to form an innate link with an astral soul, but in order to do so, it required an extremely strong perception. He was very clear that summoning-type astral souls were extremely monstrous. The stronger the summoner, the more terrifying the astral war beasts would be. With the demonic qi radiating from Qin Wentian, he was simply too suitable for summoning astral war beasts. Each and every one of the astral war beasts seemed to have inherited his terrifying demonic qi. Aren't you afraid that I will act against her? Yao Jun stared at Qin Wentian as he held on to Xian Yan. Only to see Qin Wentian's silhouette slowly floating in the air. His demonic gaze swept over Yao Jun as he coldly stated, "Release her and scram. I won't pursue your matters." Yao Jun stared at Qin Wentian who was floating in the air. That devilishly handsome young man was currently looking down at him with an incomparably domineering attitude, as though as long as he willed it, he would be able to kill Yao Jun. Such a feeling was extremely unbearable. But when Yao Jun saw how powerful the 5 astral war beasts were, he felt that Qin Wentian already possessed such terrifying strength. If he really acted against Xian Yan, he would definitely become a blood feud with Qin Wentian. Staring at Qin Wentian for a long time, Yao Jun's heart wavered. That pair of demonic silhouettes caused him to feel a deep sense of trepidation. Loosening his grip on Xian Yan, Yao Jun's silhouette flickered as he sped away, causing the spectators outside to be stunned. Not only did Yao Jun retreat without a fight, he even released Xian Yan. They couldn't sense Qin Wentian's aura directly, but Yao Jun could sense it. What did this mean? Xian Yan was also deeply shocked. A single sentence from Qin Wentian was enough to make Yao Jun release her. How strong was this demonic silhouette in front of her? The other two astral war beasts surrounded Yang Fan and Situ Pe. Yang Fan's attack power couldn't even be compared to a golden primal ape. How could he endure the encirclement? At this moment, he wanted to escape, but he discovered that he had already lost the opportunity to do so. As for Situ Pe, he was in an even worse state. The astral rock armor had long been shattered, and the crimson blood thunder hawk and silvery rock seemed to be playing tricks on him. His entire body was already dyed red with blood. As for Qin Wentian, from the moment he stepped out of the cave, he had only targeted Huafeng. The young fan in front of him, back in the moon continent, had looked down on him with unexcelled arrogance. In the unmatched realm, Situ Pe was incomparably domineering. Even after Situ Pe was defeated on the heavenly steel steps, Situ Pe still had the intention to kill him. But now, Qin Wentian didn't even need to act personally, and he could already cause them to be in an extremely miserable state. Qin Wentian, do you dare to fight me head-on? Situ Pe roared in rage. As the sound of his voice faded, the crimson blood thunder hawk and silvery rock hovered around him, while Qin Wentian slowly advanced, staring at Situ Pe. Staring into Qin Wentian's eyes, Situ Pe actually felt a trace of fear in his heart. Stepping out, Qin Wentian stepped towards Situ Pe. Situ Pe's aura frenziedly erupted as his three astral souls appeared, amplifying his attacks. An incomparably terrifying sword might gushed forth from his body, as though it wanted to destroy everything in its path. However, Qin Wentian stabbed out with a single finger. That casual finger of his seemed to be able to break through everything, penetrating through the boundless sword might. Situ Pe howled in rage as he slashed out with his sword light, yet he was unable to block the might of that single finger. Puchi. A light sound rang out as Qin Wentian's finger directly penetrated through the center of Situ Pe's brows. It was as though he had materialized out of thin air, as though he was in a dream. The sword chi around Situ Pe continued whistling, yet his eyes gradually turned lifeless. Was he, Situ Pe, going to die just like that? He wanted to fight, yet he discovered that a single finger from Qin Wentian was more than enough to kill him. Chapter 369. Situ Pe, a heavens chosen from the Sword Extinction sect, died under a single finger strike from Qin Wentian. The pitiful Situ Pe's talent was outstanding, and he had once obtained the rights to cultivate among the 36 cultivators in the unmatched realm. Not only that, he had just broken through to the 9th level of Yuanfu not too long ago. Sadly, Situ Pe met an even more monstrous talent than him, Qin Wentian. Back then in the unmatched realm, Qin Wentian had a conflict with Yu Bingying from the Azure Emperor Palace. Situ Pe was extremely proud in front of Qin Wentian, and at that time, he was indeed capable of suppressing Qin Wentian. It was just that the old man from the unmatched realm had interfered, forcing them to fight on the heavenly steel steps instead. On the heavenly steel steps, Situ Pe had lost to Qin Wentian and was expelled from the unmatched realm. Because of this, Situ Pe's heart was filled with killing intent towards Qin Wentian. But today, he had already lost his life. Although the ranking battle of the Heavenly Fate rankings was incomparably cruel, generally speaking, the participants were all from the various transcendent powers and wouldn't be too ruthless. But Chen Wang, Situ Pe, Yang Fan, and Huafeng had gone too far. They wanted to force Qin Wentian to his death, using all sorts of methods to force him to walk out of his cave and die. They even used all sorts of venomous words to infuriate him. One could only imagine the killing intent in Qin Wenqian's heart. He had finally walked out of his cave, but he didn't do so just to die. First, he tortured Hua Feng to death, and after that, he forced Yao Jun to release Xian Yan with a single sentence. Finally, he slaughtered Situ Pe in a domineering manner. All of these scenes shocked the spectators. Qin Wenqian's rise was too fast. Ever since the first round of the ranking battle, he had always been displaying his brilliance. It was only because his cultivation base was too low that he wasn't looked upon favorably by others. But now, Qin Wenqian's cultivation base was already so low that people could ignore it. Of the 4 rankers on the Heavenly Fate rankings, they either died or fled. What else could be more convincing than this? Just the astral war beasts he had summoned were more than enough to sweep away any ordinary ranker on the Heavenly Fate rankings. In the external world, amidst the crowd from the Azure Emperor Palace, Yu Bingying's countenance was as pale as paper. Situ Pe had died, she would never forget the reason why Situ Pe had a grudge with Qin Wenqian. It was all because of her. She was arrogant, she wanted Qin Wenqian to meet with her, and because of that, Lin Haotian and the rest had forcefully interrupted Qin Wenqian's cultivation, causing Qin Wenqian to have a grudge with him. This wasn't a big deal at first, but it gradually changed until Situ Pe's death. She was truly flustered and scared. Although Qin Wenqian might not remember her existence, Situ Pe was the man she had high hopes for, and now he had fallen just like that. Those from the Sword Extinction sect, Hua clan, and Star-Seizing Manor all had extremely unsightly expressions on their faces. This made everyone understand that this time around, Qin Wenqian had completely offended these major powers. Although the battle between juniors depended on one's own strength, in such a situation where Qin Wenqian had domineeringly slaughtered all of them, it was impossible for these major powers to send experts to avenge Qin Wenqian. But even so, they wouldn't give up just like that. They wouldn't allow Qin Wenqian to live a carefree life unscathed. Qin Wenqian naturally understood this as well. However, under the circumstances where the other party was forcing him, how could he endure it? Or could it be that if he retreated, these major powers would no longer make things difficult for him? Qin Wenqian shifted his gaze onto the last person, Yang Fan. This was a heaven's chosen that had never treated him seriously in the Moon continent. I'll give you my ancient luck. Yang Fan's countenance paled. Currently, with 5 astral war beasts surrounding him, Yang Fan felt despair in his heart. In such a situation, he wouldn't even be able to escape. Too late. Qin Wenqian calmly stated. The golden primal ape stomped on the ground, howling as it blasted out a terrifying golden palm imprint. The crimson blood thunder hawk was like a bolt of blood-red lightning, its razor-sharp wings slicing towards Yang Fan. The silver-armored bear king roared in rage as it rushed out. Not to mention Yang Fan, even the spectators watching from the outside felt their hearts trembling. The current Yang Fan had no path to heaven, no path to hell. Qin Wenqian floated in the air, his demonic eyes staring at Yang Fan being devoured bit by bit. Screams of agony rang out as Yang Fan was smashed into a corpse. Although he was a heaven's chosen from the Star-Seizing Manor of the Moon continent, at the moment of his death, he was nothing more than an ordinary corpse. The purgatory vermilion bird in the air above Qin Wenqian swooped down, devouring Yang Fan's ancient luck. At this moment, above Qin Wenqian's head, a third vertical line of light was about to take shape. This indicated that his vermilion bird's ancient luck had already eliminated over 20 people. Although not all of them were eliminated by him, some were defeated by Yang Fan, and some were eliminated by Situ Pe, all of them were gathered above his head. Inclining his head, Qin Wenqian stared at the horizon. Chen Wang. Qin Wenqian murmured, as a demonic light flashed in his eyes, exuding an unexcelled sharpness. Since you want to be the top ranker of the Heavenly Fate rankings so badly, let's fight for it. As the sound of his voice faded, the armored bear king leapt onto the back of the crimson blood thunder hawk, howling in rage as it sped away. the blue-scaled flood dragon king mounted the silvery rock, its silvery light arcing through the skies. The golden primal ape stomped on the ground, each step it took seemed as though it covered a boundless distance, disappearing from Qin Wenqian's vision in the blink of an eye. The 5 astral war beasts flew off in 3 different directions. Qin Wenqian stepped out, whistling through the air as a terrifying demonic wind kicked up in the air. Xian Yan inclined her head, staring at the disappearing silhouette of Qin Wenqian as her heart pounded violently. Exhaling a turbid breath, a bitter smile appeared on her face. Qin Wenqian and the others had grown too fast, so fast that Xian Yan felt that she was nothing more than a mediocre cultivator. Within the Vermilion Bird Formation grounds, the competition for ancient luck grew more and more intense. The number of participants remaining also grew stronger, but as the number of participants decreased, the chances of them encountering each other decreased as well. At this moment, Longqing was leisurely strolling through a stretch of flat ground, extending his perception outwards. Although he was ranked number 20 on the Heavenly Fate rankings, he was still extremely cautious. The ranking battle this time around wasn't a calm one, there were too many outstanding characters. Not long ago, he personally witnessed a beautiful maiden defeating a character ranked higher than him. At this moment, Longqing furrowed his brows. What was going on? Why did he feel the earth trembling? Not only that, the tremors grew more and more intense, causing Longqing's countenance to change. Shifting his gaze in a certain direction, he saw a terrifying demonic beast with a golden body galloping over, causing the earth to tremble with every step it took. Is that a golden primal ape? Longqing's heart pounded. How could there be a demonic beast here? Why would there be a demonic beast without ancient luck in the Vermilion Bird Formation grounds? What was going on? The golden primal ape rushed over, and in just a few steps, it was already in front of him. With a roar, its palm was akin to an ancient golden mountain, slamming down with a terrifying might that caused people to feel a sense of suffocation. That surge of might was so powerful that it was shocking. Ranked number 3 in the War Beast Index, its attack and defense were both near perfect. Not only that, it possessed the mandate of force and mandate of demons. How terrifying would the golden primal ape be? With a single slap, it felt as though the heavens were about to collapse. Longqing gathered all his strength and blasted out, yet he was directly smashed into the ground. This was the absolute suppression of strength. The golden primal ape grabbed Longqing in its left palm as it continued sprinting forward. Vile beast, release me! Longqing howled in rage. When had he ever felt so stifled before? However, as the sound of his voice faded, the gigantic palm of the golden primal ape increased in strength. Instantly, Longqing let out a miserable shriek, not daring to roar anymore. His countenance turned ashen as he stared at the golden primal ape in rage. This bastard, how dare he, where in the world did this demonic beast come from? Longqing felt incomparably stifled in his heart. Not long after, the golden primal ape and Longqing found another person, Ning Ming. This person was ranked number 30 in the Heavenly Fate rankings, and was also an extremely powerful character. However, in front of the golden primal ape, he didn't have much resistance. Without a second-level mandate, it was impossible for him to fight against the golden primal ape. The ending was as expected. Ning Ming's fate was the same as Longqing's. The two of them were held together, their bodies pressed against each other as blood flowed from their faces. To think that they were actually humiliated by a beast, in the blink of an eye, 7 days passed. It was getting harder and harder to obtain ancient luck, but the extreme scenes were even more obvious. The strongest group of people were getting more and more terrifying, and the amount of ancient luck they gathered was also increasing. Chen Wang, Sherpatian and the rest, the vermilion birds hovering in the air were all about to transform into true vermilion birds. Flames coiled around their bodies, incomparably terrifying. Zhan Chen, Emperor Azure, Wang Ju, Yan Cheng and the rest were still as domineering as ever. Si Qiong, Qin Zheng, Leng Hong, Hua Shaoqing, Yunmengyi and the rest were still the dark horses, advancing unceasingly. It was as though no one could obstruct their path. However, during these days, the person who attracted the most attention wasn't Chen Wang, nor was it Sherpa Tian, nor was it the dark horse Si Qiong. Instead, it was a character that couldn't be ignored, Qin Wentian. Within the Vermilion Bird Formation, an extremely shocking scene was currently unfolding. The Golden Primal Ape, Crimson Blood Thunder Hawk, Silvery Rock, the 5 astral war beasts were all speeding towards the same direction. In the palms of the Golden Primal Ape, there were several silhouettes clenched within. The claws of the Crimson Blood Thunder Hawk and the blue-scaled Flood Dragon could also be seen. These people howled in anger and unwillingness, but it was all useless. The astral war beasts didn't kill them, they were merely capturing them as they sped towards the same direction. Finally, all the astral war beasts gathered at the same location, below a gigantic boulder on the peak of a mountain. On the boulder, those people inclined their heads as they stared in awe. Over there was actually a silhouette clad in a platinum battle robe. It was none other than Qin Wentian. This young man, who was once at the 7th level of Yuanfu, was now standing atop a gigantic boulder, exuding an incomparably demonic aura, akin to a monarch peering down at the world with disdain. His aura was extremely terrifying. Not only that, they discovered that other than the astral war beasts that captured them, there were also other astral war beasts present. These astral war beasts were all here to pay homage to Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian was like their king. So it turned out that these astral war beasts were actually controlled by Qin Wentian. I want ancient luck. Qin Wentian's demonic eyes stared downwards. After which, the purgatory vermilion bird pounced forth, devouring the ancient luck. Those people felt incomparably sullen, yet there was nothing they could do. The impact of this scene was too great. Even after many years, they wouldn't be able to forget this legendary character of Grand Xia. Many years ago, during the ranking battle of the Heavenly Fate rankings, he stood atop a gigantic boulder, staring down at them with disdain, seizing their ancient luck. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.